Hey man, welcome back to another stream with your favorite NBA YouTube group, Kid Threes, man. Yo, Gabe, how you doing, bro? How you doing?
Hey man, it's a great day to be back. I was not here Saturday. We did not stream last Wednesday. It's been a full week since I've been on here with y'all, so I'm excited to get back to it. And we're gonna have a lot to talk about today because we do only have four of us. So I'm ready to give some thoughts.
Hey, let it hear. Yo, Mo, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm getting over a sickness. You could probably still hear it in my voice, but ready for a good stream. We got some good topics. Man, damn, I can't believe I missed the stream where this man finally won key holder. I'm actually upset. I gotta go rewatch that. But
Hey, bro.
happy to be here. Happy for a good stream. You already know what it is, man.
Yes, sir. Yo, Gary, how you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. Obviously last stream, it was kind of an honor to be the guy who was key holder, handing the keys to Jay for his first ever stream. Being the winner of the NBA meme game, it's a big accomplishment. But I'm excited to see what you have in store for us today, Jay.
Hey, well, I will say this is going to be a very fun stream. As you guys know, I went through hell and back to get this key holder spot, and I'm gonna make sure. You know what I'm saying, you feel my presence. So today, the first topic we got is a debate segment where I'm going to have the boys argue one side or another. We got players, we got teams, even playoff matchups. And to start off, guess a number between let's do 1 to 5.
2.
3.
Hey, Gabe, you got it, my boy.
Come on, bro. Let's key of threes, not key of twos or fives.
All right, so the topic, brother. The first one we're gonna do is Ja Morant versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Pick your side, bro.
Oh, brother. Wait, who's he debating?
Who's he going against?
Oh, I guess I'll Mo because you said 2. The number was 3, so you can go.
Okay.
That's good. I don't want to argue for either of these.
That's crazy.
This one side I absolutely do not want to argue for, but
wait, Gabe, do you want to pick your side or you want to go first?
No, I'm gonna pick my side. Who am I going against, Mo?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm picking Ja.
Okay.
Really?
You're an ass, bro. You know I don't like Shai like that.
Hey, listen,
I
boy.
did you a favor, Mo, but I don't know.
I feel like it's probably easier to argue for him, but like I would have did a better job arguing with
Gabe. You got 2 minutes on the clock to make your argument for Ja Morant, and when I say go, hey, let loose, brother. All right, hold up. Let's put you on the big screen.
I can do that.
Yeah.
First time being key holder.
He is ready.
All right, let's go, bro.
Performance.
Go crazy.
Wait, is that?
Can you
Am I
start?
ready to
Yeah,
go?
go.
Oh, is that? Okay. All right. Let me start. All right. So, Ja Morant is better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander simply because he is more proven over time. I think they both have very high-level performances, especially recently. But Ja Morant over the past couple of years has consistently been the best player on the Memphis Grizzlies, as they have been towards the top of the Western Conference year in and year out. While they haven't made that deep push to get to a Western Conference Finals or an NBA Finals, compared to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder, who haven't even made a playoff appearance yet, Ja has brought them a lot further as a leader and as a player than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has. Ja Morant, the first year he broke out, was in some dark horse MVP conversations, not saying that he was going to win the award or anything, but saying that he was playing up to that high of a level. The biggest thing against him right now is likely games played because he has missed some time, but Shai also has missed time over the past few years. So, just all across the board, I just feel like Ja has a lot more to show on his resume. Even when it comes to awards and accolades, Ja does have that most improved player. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does not have anything like that. They both have a couple All-NBA appearances by now. So a very similar outlook. I do think that Ja also has shown the ability to rise heavily in the playoffs. He's had some really big series, especially notably against that Golden State. That was a really huge series for him. He ups his numbers when it comes to efficiency and just raw production. And just overall, I mean, Ja Morant, he's proven himself to be a star in this league and has a very bright future ahead of him. I don't want to bring off the court issues into this. I really feel like that might be the biggest thing against him right now. But as just a basketball player, Ja Morant is the better guy and much more proven as of now.
Yeah, all right, I like that.
How much time was left?
You had about 18 seconds left. Wait, yo, Mo, is 2 minutes? Is 2 minutes too long? Should we cut it short, like a minute and a half?
Nah, 2 minutes. We all right. I feel like we all right.
Say that.
I don't know if I'm gonna fill up 2 minutes with a Shea talk, but that's just my anti-Shea bias.
You convinced me, my brother.
My 2 minutes started.
And let's go.
All right. So you talk about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. You talk about somebody who, at the moment, is definitely playing at a higher level than Ja Morant is. Coming off of that first team All NBA season. I don't believe Ja Morant has one of those under his belt yet. You talk about the way that this Oklahoma City team is progressing. It's all due, well, not all, but a good portion of it is due to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander taking that 25-point per game jump to a 30-point per game jump. Yes, no, it's not a dream. It's not a dream. I'm actually arguing for Shea. When you also look at Shea, I feel like one of the things that you could talk about as a weakness to his game is, his outside shooting. That's a problem, and it's one that he's, working on. He's been a better three-point shooter. He's been getting better over his career. But what you want to talk about for him as far as his strengths, he is one of the premier finishers and free throw makers, in the league right now. I think he was averaging like something absurd, like 13 or so free throws per game, which is a lot. He got that superstar whistle already, and that's a good thing. He's one of the premier finishers. His mid-range is there. It's just, he's a point guard without an outside shot, but there's plenty of those. Ja Morant's one of those, so you can't really hold that against him too much. As far as Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he also, I feel like his team has a higher ceiling due to the talent that they have around them, and so it's good that he's, showing this superstar capability with all of the talent that he has around him, and hopefully next season we can see him, bring it all together and make this team a playoff team. Because as much as I like to shit on Shea,
that's two like that, my brother.
Okay, let me finish this out real quick. So as much as I like to shit on Shea, I do think that this team can be a playoff team, and I hope that they are. So,
dude, I can't believe you got more off on Shea than I got off on Ja.
That's crazy.
I thought you were a hater. Like, what's with that?
I am a hater.
Hey, both of you guys made some very good points. I'm not gonna lie, there was just one thing that stood out to me. It was that All NBA that Mo brought up. I might have to fact check it, unless Ja really was not All NBA in his career. But that All NBA got it, bro.
Was John not All NBA second? He was All NBA second team the year before.
Hey, never mind.
Bro said,
Mo, are you muted?
You're
muted for anyone else or me?
I think
he's muted.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, shit, damn.
Oh, okay.
Bro, you said never mind. Does that mean you change your vote?
No. Both Shea and Ja, they both have one All NBA selection. Ja has a second team, and then Shea has a first.
And Shea made first. Yeah, they both kind of said that though.
No. The way that Mo did it, he did it a little deceivingly. Like Ja was never All NBA candidate. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to go with Gabe.
That's crazy.
What?
Hey,
That's crazy,
respectfully, I like Gabe's supporting arguments. Mo, you put up some good facts as well, but I think Gabe was talking that shit just a little bit more, bro.
Gabe, you an asshole, bro. You know I'm not a Shea fan like that.
Bro,
that didn't even make sense.
Which side do you want? And I was against Mo. I was like, oh, bro, this is like, bro, it's like if I was doing a GOAT debate against Garrett, bro. I'm picking Jordan so fast, so he has to argue for LeBron. Because if your heart's not
I'd argue anyone else.
Same.
If it was Jordan versus the field, I'm picking anyone else, man. I'm not picking LeBron.
Hey, congratulations, Gabe. Hey, you made it to the next round. Now, between you and Garrett, wait, should we do?
Did I get a buy or what happened?
Oh no,
next round.
Yeah, I'm bugging. All right, yo, Gabe, you made it to the next round. Now it's between Mo and Garrett.
Yo, I
And,
gotta go back to back. That's I mean, I did lose, so whatever.
all right, so
So I'm the losers bracket. Okay.
all right, so pick a number 1 through 5.
4,
No, let's do 1 through 10. 1 through 10.
6.
5.
All right, the answer was 3. Garrett, you pick your
It's
side.
key of
okay,
threes,
come on now.
bro. It's key of threes.
You pick your
I
side,
agree.
or
Brother.
you pick your topic, or you will go first. But the topics I got right here, we got Devin Booker versus Jason Tatum.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great topic.
Bro, I was hoping you were gonna say Booker and Mitchell. I would have
That's
had a lot
not
to
even
say
an
about-
argument, though. That would have kind of been bogus for whoever had done that, Mitchell.
Garrett thinks Donovan Mitchell's actually better, so
I do think he's better.
Which is crazy.
What? Okay, brother. We're gonna have to chat about that.
Mo, I remember in one of the streams recently, you were giving a lot of props to Mitchell. Come on.
I
man.
was, but he's not better than Devin. We're getting off topic, but he's not better than Devin.
Anyways, I'm gonna take Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Damn it.
Hey, I want to win, dude.
That's the second time, bro. Like, what are we? Whatever.
Hey Mo,
Bro, it's the key of threes, man.
Mo, you ready to cook?
Let's go.
All right. Wait,
Oh shit, we got it. Hold on. All right, bet.
You win with Gabe
What?
because Mo's
Okay.
is more convincing. Yeah, we don't.
all right, let's go.
All right. You talking about somebody like Devin Booker? He is a proven guy who can get you wins in the regular season. What you can bring up is, yes, he struggled in closing games, but like, I'm not gonna hold that against him, because if we hold everybody to their playoff failures, then we wouldn't hold anybody in high regard at all. What we've seen from Devin Booker was he can consistently be the best player on a team that can get at least far in the playoffs. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's pretty loud.
Block.
He can be the best player on a team that can get far in the playoffs. He can lead he can lead that team to the number 1 seed. He can even lead that team to the finals. For me, it's a matter of it's basically a matter of take your pick. Jason Tatum and Devin Booker, to me, are two sides of the same coin. I've said this like 6 times on this live stream, and I'm going to keep saying it until the end of time, until it doesn't, ring true anymore. They're the same player. I think offensively, Devin Booker, his game is more fluid, more open. You can see that just by the shots he takes. Obviously, they both difficult shot merchants. Devin Booker is a better 3-point shooter. Tatum's a better, finisher around the rim. Take your pick, honestly. But I think that Devin Booker going into next season, he's definitely going to, I think his team record is going to be better. And I also think that, given with what's around him, he'll have an opportunity to look just as good as Jason Tatum did last year. So Devin Booker is my choice, because what do you look at in Devin Booker that you don't like? Devin Booker's got it all. He can score, he can defend, he can get you buckets when you need. He's a great leader. Hey, Devin Booker all the way, baby.
Okay,
and that's my time.
Okay. I like that, Mo. Okay. What you cooking with Garrett?
For sure.
Can I go?
Yeah.
All right. To start off, at least on the defensive end, which wasn't touched on most, Jason Tatum's clearly a better defender than Devin Booker. And in terms of someone who's going to be a premier bucket getter and get the mismatches more often than not, I'm taking Jason Tatum on my team. Now, if we're talking about a success standpoint, I know you brought up Devin Booker's a guy who's going to get you up there high in the standings, get you far in the playoffs a lot. But let's not forget that Jason Tatum has been a part of the Celtics making the conference finals 4 out of the last 6 years, 4 of his first 6 years, by the way, right? And he was doing it since he was a rookie. Remember when he was going toe-to-toe with the Sixers, going toe-to-toe with Giannis in the first round, that when him and like Middleton had or Rozier and Middleton had those like clutch shots that one game in that series. And then same thing, like dunking on LeBron in the conference finals, a win away from making the finals. And even just last year, not this past year, but the year before in 2022, leading his team to the finals, the way everyone counted them out against Philly this year. And he found a way to muster it up in the last 3 or 4 minutes That's excellence. That's greatness. When you're not having a great game, but you can always find your way to get the job done when need be. I'm taking Jason Tatum on my team over Devin Booker because I've seen a lot of times where Devin Booker in the closeout games, what happens? That's what always happens to Devin Booker, man. He always finds a way to fumble when needed most. And Jason Tatum, yeah, this year they lost Game 7 bad. I think people also forget that he got hurt very early in that game against Miami. But someone who's, arguably the best two-way player in the league right now, especially when healthy, because obviously we never know if Kawhi is going to be healthy. But I think especially healthy, counting on the health, I'm taking Jason Tatum in that regard. And he's also someone who's going to always be at the top of the standings, lead his team up there too. I mean, he's been counted on as the number one guy for a contending team longer than Devin Booker's even been an all-star. So I think that's pretty simple.
Hey, that's two. Hey, Garrett, Mo, you guys put up a very good fight. Both of you guys. Yeah, both of you guys put up a very good fight, fellas. But Mo, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like you were playing the middle, bro. I don't feel like you brought up enough facts, enough. Now I'm saying you didn't push the Devin Booker agenda enough.
I thought his Devin Booker agenda was very good, man.
Nah, bro. He was
I mess with it a lot.
Nah, he was like he could be just as good as Tatum. Fuck that. He got to be better. I want to hit a better shit, bro. And you talking about how you can't hold playoff, like not showing up in the playoffs against you? Yes, you can. Fuck yes, you can. I'm not gonna have to get you, Garrett.
All right, listen. All I'm gonna say about that is, I said more than that, but hey, a loss is a loss, my brother.
He's talking about what can Devin Booker do, bro. He's a great leader, a great scorer, a great defender. He can do it all. I'm like, bro,
great defender is a reach. I'm not gonna lie.
I would. Well, yeah, you said he can defend, so that you didn't. That's what you said. So honestly, what you said was more accurate than what I just said. But I feel like I would have went with Mo personally, just because.
Nah,
a lot of what he said really was building up Devin Booker, and while Garrett was building up like Tatum, I don't know the stuff that like Mo saying about Booker. I was like, oh, like that's really. Like Devin Booker, and maybe it's because I already had Devin Booker in my mind because Garrett went second, but he's like, yeah, like he was like the best player on a finals team and had like a lot of really good moments doing so. And I'm like, oh, like Devin Booker did that. And then I like just remember, I'm like, oh yeah, Devin Booker closed out the Lakers with a 50 piece. I'm like, oh, and so like a lot of those arguments like didn't set Tatum apart from Booker for me. So I think that's where like my just the mindset, like where my thought process was at. I think for me, Mo's argument resonated a little bit better, but I do think it was very close. I see why you went the way you went.
See, Gabe, if Mo would have brought up situations like that, moments like that, I probably would have went with him. I might have went with him. But Garrett brought up the dunk on LeBron, the showing up in the Philly series type. You know what I mean?
Were you saying that and referring to like when I was doing like the choke thing to Devin Booker, Gabe? Is that like what you were referring to, or? Like,
nah, because I get the Game 7 collapses, bro. I understand, but
I was just.
I did just see Jason Tatum go out in Game 7, which you addressed, but like, I don't know.
I got a question. It's kind of related to the last debate topic. Which finals run do you guys think is more impressive? Tatum's finals run, where they came up short to the Warriors, or Devin Booker's finals run where they came up short to the Bucks?
Tatum's. I'm not gonna lie. That sweep in Brooklyn was tough, bro.
I think Tatum's is a little bit more impressive because I get it. There were injuries to play on both sides. The Bucks were missing Middleton, and I just think for the Suns there was a lot more like in their favor because AD was hurt, LeBron had just came back, Kawhi was missing. And like Jamal Murray was out. Now, obviously, I'm not saying they would have lost every single series if those guys were healthy, but like it's a little bit different than like the other side of things where it's like, Middleton was just out. I mean, they swept a team that a lot of people thought might still win the title, even though they had just traded Harden. I mean, KD and Kyrie, they swept them. Like that's huge. And then also still beating the Bucks, which everyone thought was invincible, essentially. Even without Middleton, they still were probably favored to win it prior to that. And then going through the Heat where they won, I believe they won 3 road games in that series. Like that's That's not easy to do by any means.
Like that, yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
a Game 7 road win going to the finals. So
Yeah, they were both very good runs. I think I'm on the side of the Suns because both sides definitely have like a lot of like luck based things go their way. Like you can talk about like Jamal Murray or AD for the Suns, but at the same time, like
or Kawhi.
just the same, you can talk about like
Kawhi.
when the Celtics went to the finals. Like, dude, Brooklyn was turning into a dumpster fire. Like Chris Middleton, everybody says, "Oh, if Chris Middleton was playing, like." The Bucks had that for sure, and like that came down to the wire. So it's like I think the arguments are kind of the same for both sides, but like just the stuff I was seeing Devin Booker doing against the Lakers, who that was like the year after the title year, so they still had a pretty good roster even if AD was banged up. And then like beyond that, like they literally, correct me if I'm wrong, but like that year Jokic was the MVP of the league, and they like literally made him look like deficient. Like the way they attacked him in the pick and roll, like, dude, Jokic caught bad defense allegations. It still does all the time because of how bad the Suns.
He's never dodging them, by the way. They never.
Let me also ask you this, Gabe, because I think even the playoff run maybe goes a little bit deeper than just the playoffs. Because if you remember that year, like they were below 500 halfway through the year, sitting at like 11 or 12 in the conference, right? And they managed to pull away to get to second, going through basically all the other teams that had, I mean, of all the lower seeds in the first round of that playoffs. And I think even Mo, as Bulls fans, we can agree that like of the lower seeds in the first round in the East, the Nets were feared more than any other, like 100%. Of all those lower seeds. And
they were
feared. Do you think people thought they would sweep them? You know, that's a huge thing.
I didn't even have, and this is kind of crazy, but I had that series going to 7, and I had the Nets winning that series. So
I did
them
too.
Being swept was crazy. Definitely nobody had them being swept. I feel like the Celtics had the higher seed. Yeah, the Celtics had the higher seed. So the 2 games that they took at home, cool. They had the higher seed, right? I'm not mistaken that.
Yeah, they did. Especially because the year before the Nets beat them like pretty easily in the first round.
It was, I think, it was game 1. Tatum hit that putback layup game winner, and then game 2 they was also at home. When they took game 3 at the Nets home, we was like, "Yo, they not about to get swept, are they?" And then, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they just like whoop their ass game 4?
It was, I mean, it was kind of close-ish. Like almost every game was close, but like that almost should also add a little bit of an extra fire to it because like all 4 close games, playoff games, it's like every playoff game is almost a must-win. It's a must-win. Every playoff game is a must-win, right? So it's like all 4 of those games are that close, and they're just the better team down the stretch. And he's the biggest reason why, you know?
For sure. And not to mention the defense that they played on KD and Kyrie. The Kyrie portion don't get talked about because it mainly falls on KD's shoulders because he was the one that had, you know, the least impressive performance, I guess, between them two. But Kyrie was getting this shit locked up too. He couldn't get shit going either. So that's why I give the edge to the Celtics.
The other thing I'll add too, and I don't think it'll be like a huge thing because obviously they're both like great players, like top 15 players in the league. But especially with like Tatum, we've seen him do this in a Brad Stevens system, an Ime Udoka system, and a Joe Mazzulla system, where it's like all of Devin Booker's playoff success up until this point has been with Monty Williams' system. So that I think plays a part. We'll have to still see what happens with Frank Vogel, but like I think that should be accounted for too when we're talking about Tatum. It's like being able to adjust and still be an elite level player when there's, you know, a bunch of new players coming in and out of the team, and then also like a new coaching scheme.
I mean, that's playoff success, but I watched Devin Booker be a star with like literally the freaking coaching merry-go-round happening and so much dysfunction in Phoenix. And for him to play as well as he did through that was like impressive.
Yeah, I meant from like I was talking more so from like the success standpoint. Like I get that for sure. And I think
that's like a team, like the Tatum's also just was drafted into like a very successful team that literally was in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before he even got there.
That's true, but we do see players that like when there's different coaching systems or like they go to different teams, it's like they don't play the same, you know, or like their role changes. You know what I mean? So like that's why I'm not like I guess like I'm not holding that against Booker because like that's uncontrollable. But I'm just saying like that should be something that's like give props to Tatum for that too.
No, for sure.
Whenever
But fellas, we're gonna do this finals round real quick between Gabe and Garrett. Definitely interested to see who comes out successful in this round. And I have I would say a fairly interesting topic. A fairly interesting topic here. Fellas, give me a number between 1 and 20.
3.
4.
No,
It-
frick you.
The number was 15. Gabe, you pick.
Why
Alright,
was I
so-
gonna say like 12 or something? Okay.
So the two guys we got competing against each other is De'Aaron Fox and Donovan Mitchell.
You said De'Aaron Fox versus Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
this
Donovan
is
Mitchell.
recency bias, the debate.
Your vote, you're taking Donovan Mitchell?
Okay.
of course.
All right. I'll take Fox. Clearly, because that's the only other option.
Hey, Garrett, you are on the clock.
Oh, I'm going first?
Yeah. And go.
All right. So when we're looking at De'Aaron Fox, this guy has always been a star. He started from the bottom, now where he's at. I don't think enough people give him credit because there's a lot of situations such as Minnesota that have been like at the very bottom for so long, and he pulled them basically out of nowhere, right? And now getting the Kings to where they were this season, nobody could have expected them to be the 3 seed. And I think the Kings, honestly, getting the 3 seed this past year is a better accomplishment than maybe anything Donovan Mitchell's done in his whole career, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think we're talking about the defensive side of the ball. De'Aaron Fox definitely has that edge. And just as a pure playmaker, De'Aaron Fox has that edge. Look at right now, because this debate is about right now. I just saw Donovan Mitchell get locked up by Josh Hart and the New York Knicks. I mean, Jay knows that very well. So that's an ugly look for him. Meanwhile, I saw De'Aaron Fox take the defending NBA champions to 7 games with no playoff experience whatsoever. And one could argue that up until maybe like game 7, he was out playing or at least playing head to head, even with Steph Curry. Okay. Like that's a huge accomplishment in itself. So I got to give De'Aaron Fox all the praise in the world. And I think just the way that he makes a lot of his teammates better, he sets up shooters like Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk perfectly. And I just don't know if you can get that out of Donovan Mitchell. Sure, he's going to score at a higher volume, but I think De'Aaron Fox is bread and butter in the mid-range. And remind me, who just won the Clutch Player of the Year award? When I want a guy who's going to be reliable down the stretch of games, taking the shots. I don't want a guy who's going to be doing all this maybe the first half and then disappear. Because remember, he did that in the playoffs too this year, where he had like a decent first half and then bro went ghost. So I'm going to give my vote to De'Aaron Fox. I think especially right now, how could you not give it to him and what he just did for the Sacramento Kings, pulling them out from under, and now look at them. So I got to go with Fox.
That's two. All right. Okay. I see you, Gary.
He
Okay.
timed that perfectly too. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Gabe, you on the clock.
This was based off such a small sample size. We're really talking about De'Aaron Fox only having one true star level year. He was definitely a good player for years, but you got to think, it's not just him that pulled them out of there. They traded for Sabonis and they reinforced the roster just all across the board, and they brought in a great new coach. So there was a lot of things more than just De'Aaron Fox that brought them out of there. While he plays his role very well on that team, we need to talk about Donovan Mitchell. And that just makes this not even an argument to me. Yes, De'Aaron Fox, when put in Mike Brown's system, was able to play at his highest level and take them far. But Donovan Mitchell's been the best player on a 1 seed. Donovan Mitchell this year was a guy who scored 70 points in a game and was All-NBA second team. Donovan Mitchell is a guy who in the past had the 3rd highest scoring playoff game ever, and a guy who averaged 37 in a playoff series or something. Yes, he's had some down moments in the playoffs, but that's because there's an actual sample size to go off of and not just one series. De'Aaron Fox has never even won a playoff series in his career. Donovan Mitchell just has so much more to show for himself. From his rookie year, he was already just proving that he's a winning player. He came into the Cavs, and this team didn't make the playoffs before he got to town, and now they were A 4 seed literally had home court advantage. Yes, it didn't go great in the playoffs, but it was their first year together. You got to give them some time to grow. De'Aaron Fox got a lot of time to grow with the Kings. Donovan Mitchell's been one of the best scorers in the league and is consistently touted as a top 2 shooting guard. When De'Aaron Fox, some people don't even have him as a top 5 point guard. Like, just based on like the comparisons to guys at his position, it really isn't even that close. And De'Aaron Fox has that liability from spacing the floor and shooting. Donovan Mitchell doesn't have that hole in his game. The only real hole in his game at this point might be his defense, but we're not going to sit here and act like De'Aaron Fox is a great defender. He's decently nice at the point of attack.
That's two.
Defensive guy.
Hey, not gonna lie.
Man.
I'm not gonna lie. Hey, that was some heavy hitters right there. Mr. 71, Mr. Clutch Player of the Year. Hey, that was some good debating. Whew. I'm going to have to go with. I'm gonna have to decide. I'm going.
Wait. Oh, never mind.
No. What you gonna say? I
was gonna say. I want to give my thoughts.
Nah, give your thoughts.
So, my thoughts on this are that, apart from the debate, I think that Donovan Mitchell was the better player. So I think he would have been easier to argue. Garrett, we talk about your debate. I like how you brought up that he was battling with Steph in the playoffs. I liked how you brought up that he got his teammates involved and stuff like that. And basically, you were saying that he contributes more to his team's success than Donovan Mitchell. I do like that the way that you tried to spin that argument. So I give you props on that. Gabe, I think that you had the easier player to work with, and so you did a good job at hitting some of the points that I probably would have missed. Best player on the 1 seed. What else did you say? You brought up the 71 points. You brought up his playoff success, and you also mentioned how one superstar or star level season, as you said, from De'Aaron Fox doesn't outweigh everything that Donovan Mitchell has done in his career. So I like both of you guys' arguments. If I had to choose who would have won, I would have went with Garrett, but my vote doesn't count here. So Jay, who's the winner?
All right, so I'm glad you pointed out all those points that both Gabe and Garrett brought up. I'm gonna have to go with Gabe. Hey, Gabe, I like the defense that you played, that you were playing originally. Maybe the argument wasn't fair. Maybe I'll admit I like that you brought up that De'Aaron Fox not only had Sabonis, but a brand new system, new coach. Like you reinforced the roster, and you brought up some good points, Gabe. Hey, good shit, bro.
Hey man, if I had to bring up a point about like the Knicks owning Donovan Mitchell and it still wasn't enough for Jay, that might not have been a fair argument, man.
Hey, I'm key holding today. I gotta be completely unbiased.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
I don't know. Like, it was just tough because it's like the only thing I could argue with that is like this year, because there's never been a time that they've been in the same even like realm of anything. But I wish I went second, because if you would win first, Gabe, I was gonna say your point about Donovan Mitchell being like the best or second best shooting guard in the league. I was gonna say just like how much weaker that position is, but like I was like, dang, I can't say anything because I went first.
Hey, regardless, good shit, boys. Y'all do y'all thing in the debates, but that brings us to our next topic.
Wait. Gabe not gonna get a chance to pop his shit.
Oh no, my fault. Yo, pop your shit, Gabe Slide. My fault.
All right, y'all. Listen, when it comes to this debate shit, I introduced KOT to debates, right? Not that I was the first person to ever do debates, but my key holder stream was the first time that we ever did this shit on here. And to this point, I have not lost. I'm just going to say that. I have not lost.
Hey man, if Mo was key holder, you would have.
Exactly, bro.
Hey, but listen, if ifs and buts made coconuts, we would all be drinking milk. So, with that said,
Maurice,
I won last time twice. I'm now currently about 4-0 in debates. So this is kind of my lane, bro. Other people can have trivia. Other people can have me in the content goat. Other people can have whatever they want. When it comes to winning an argument, bro, pure argument, pure just fucking talking. Come on, bro.
Oh, you meant like,
I like that.
Never mind. I thought you meant like, my fault. I was only thinking of like the ones like between us. But yeah, you were.
I'm not gonna lie, Gabe. We don't care about none of that shit you said. No, I'm just playing, bro.
To be fair, you've only gone against me and Mo as well, though. So it's I don't know. There's a lot of other.
And I had to pull double
Bruh,
duty,
but you
and
guys
I
are
got hold
heavyweights.
on. No. I had to pull double duty, and I got hold on both my selections because you
So
chose
did I.
Ja and he chose Tatum, which is both my options. So I'm calling bullshit. But
Well, usually
whatever,
picking
bro.
the side wasn't the big thing, bro. In past instances when we've done debates, it's always been who goes first or second. That was kind of the bigger factor.
That is
Of
true.
who win.
That is true.
Hey, regardless, y'all boys
Low-key
put up a
Mickey
good
Mouse.
fight. Y'all boys put up a good fight. But that brings us to our next topic. And it's Giannis, man. Giannis had an interview with the New York Times and he let it all out. Giannis spoke about his re-signing and his thoughts about re-signing with the Milwaukee Bucks. And he said when he is eligible in September, he will not do it. Guys, will Giannis leave the Milwaukee Bucks?
Can I start off on this?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
All right. So a few things came in my mind when I had, read the headline and went and read it, the actual, what he said. One was this thought. When does anybody know when he originally signed like that crazy contract? Because if I'm
I think it
not
was
mistaken,
2020,
so
right?
he
'Cause it was
signed that
right
in, yeah,
before.
I think he signed that in 2020. And I always note how crazy that contract is because Deshaun Watson basically got Giannis's contract but guaranteed in football. And that's how I always know how much money Giannis or not money Giannis, but that's how I kind of relate the contracts or whatever whenever I need to reference a pretty big contract. I remember distinctly saying, okay, Giannis got his money. That's good for him. But did he make a mistake? Now, obviously, this was immediately when he signed the contract, and this was before they had gone on to win, the finals. So obviously, he didn't make a fucking mistake. But one of the reasons that I had asked myself, did he make a mistake, is because of the roster in the future. Now, the roster that they had obviously was enough to win a championship, and they did win a championship. But you take a look at this roster now, and it's not the same as we saw in 2020, 2021, and what would have been 2022 if Chris Middleton, didn't get hurt. This team has some glaring holes, one of them being Chris Middleton as a second star. Now, we just saw him decline his option and then re-sign with them. So obviously Chris Middleton's in for the long run or however long. And then I'm not sure what Drew Holiday's contract situation is, but they still have decisions to make with him. But beyond that, this team is not looking like a championship team. So, long story short, I do think Giannis is going to end up re-signing, but it's not going to be instant. It's going to be he's going to have to see major or steady improvements towards this roster in order for him to feel secure enough in signing another 4 or 5 years of his career away to the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, it's been a lot of talk about Giannis's, he's a loyal guy, but I'm glad that he made it known that, hey, if this team is not doing what they need to do, it won't be no extension being signed, and it won't be no happy ending, and it won't be, I'm a Buck forever, because we say this all the time. The NBA is a business. So if the Bucks don't do their due diligence on their side and make sure that this is a contending roster while Giannis is here, shit, more power to him if he doesn't resign. But I do think eventually he'll get the resign, the new deal done. Just not right away. He gonna make him sweat a little bit.
I don't really see Giannis leaving. I just feel like, especially after winning the championship, I just don't see a way that he will leave, at least not on the next contract, prior to the next chance that he has to leave. But I feel like if he were to leave somewhere, I mean, there are a few possibilities. Obviously, everyone's, I think, thrown around. I think Dallas has been mentioned multiple times, over the years, as a possible Giannis spot. Obviously, he's always going to be in Knicks jerseys. I know that he made the one comment about Chicago, but I just don't really see him anywhere else. I think the biggest thing, though, what you said, Mo, talking about if he was at fault with signing or like agreeing to stay there long term, I would say no. I don't think it's really his fault. I think it's more so just to the fault of like Mark Lazary and like just what's been put around him. I don't think, usually when you have a star like this, because I think prior to maybe the playoffs this year, I think most NBA fans would tell you who's the best player in the world, Giannis, right? And it's probably felt like that since he won the championship in 2021. Even after the Warriors won last year, even throughout the whole regular season when Jokic and Embiid were fighting for MVP, I think most people will tell you Giannis was the best player in the world the last couple of years. And when you have a player like that, because I think it might have been you, Gabe, and you were talking with JELSON one day on here where it was like a player like this, like you do whatever it takes to like keep them happy. You don't want to upset them. You know what I mean? So like, I just feel like when you put the oldest cast of NBA players around a guy who's probably the best player in the world or arguably the best player in the world, and especially when some of those guys are deteriorating as players, because like we said, we don't even know what's going to happen like for Chris Middleton next year. Obviously this year wasn't great. Granted, he was coming off injury, but it's like, is Chris Middleton just not going to be the same? And obviously Brook Lopez had a great year for his age, but it's like eventually Father Time will probably catch up. And it's like, was that an anomaly season for someone so old? Maybe he can play that great again or close to this season, but like the season after and then the year after that, is it going to get worse and worse? Because eventually he's going to be in his high 30s, and most players aren't that productive at that age. And then as for Drew Holiday, I mean, I've always said I feel like in the playoffs, his offensive liability as a shooter or as in terms of efficiency, sometimes you have to question, is what he does in the defensive end worth it to make up for its offensive liability? And that these are like the questions that I feel like haven't really been answered by the Bucks management over the last couple of years. And so now it's like
real quick, Garrett,
go ahead.
You answer him. Is Drew Holiday's defensive, acumen, is it worth the drop in efficiency and sometimes him going cold in the playoffs? Because I would say, yeah.
I would say it's fair, but you have to weigh the possibilities. So you have to look at like what you could get in a possible trade. Not saying you have to trade Drew Holiday, but you have to at least keep that door open. You got to see like what you can get for him, because you can't just stay put when you have a player that has, as you said, glaring deficiencies on this team. He has a glaring deficiency on the offensive end. So it's like when you have something like that and someone who's such an integral part of your team that's going to be playing so many minutes and have such a big role, like you have to at least see what you can get for a player like that. And maybe if you can upgrade, maybe you can like get rid of those deficiencies. So for that reason, I don't really put the blame on him. I feel like it's more so on ownership. And I don't know how they're going to kind of get around this, because they've had the oldest team in the league, I think the last 2 years now. I think it'll be going into the second year, because after the Lakers 2022 season, then they weren't anymore. But I don't know what they're going to do. I do think he'll stay though, but he might not be as happy as he once was if he can't keep winning and if the team is not playing well.
All right, so we need to be honest here.
When
it comes to Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis has absolutely nothing left to prove. Giannis at this stage in his career, he's what, 27, 26, 28, something like that, mid to late 20s. Where he's at right now,
Giannis is 28 years old.
Giannis Antetokounmpo has had a stretch where he's been the best player in the NBA.
He turns 29.
Won a championship. He's won a championship as the best player. Giannis has been a 2-time MVP. Giannis has been a defensive player of the year. He's about a 6 or 7-time All-Star, probably like 5 or 6-time All-NBA to this point. And we know that he's probably going to be that next year and the year after that and the year after that. Giannis at only 28 years old has nothing left to prove. So, damn it, if Giannis wants to leave and go somewhere else because that would be more fun and the situation in Milwaukee is not optimal to just go win more and play at the highest level, let him do it. Let him do it. Because at this point, when it comes to what is Giannis's legacy, Yeah, he could definitely get himself more up the all-time charts. I think most people right now would probably place him around like a top 30 type guy. And he could probably get himself damn near to like top 15 if he had a long, fruitful career and some more success. If he just kept adding on to what he's doing now, he has that kind of potential to get there. Whether he wants to do that somewhere else, that's all up to him, because you guys bring up a lot of great points about this team getting old. We know Middleton missed most of last year, and we don't know if he's going to be the same level guy. Drew Holiday, an obvious decline. You're talking about, is his offensive deficiency worth his defensive production? Well, if we look at last playoffs, he had a man saying, "I own you," to another grown man, to Drew Holiday. So let me tell you that right now.
He meant that
Drew
shit.
Holiday, his defensive production is not even there anymore. So he's basically a zero on both sides in the playoffs.
You can't even trade him.
Can't get rid of him.
Wait, why not?
He wants to retire after this contract. He's done.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Well, I
comes to
guess
their whole
what he
team-
said with that is he hopes to. He is looking toward that, but it's not confirmed, like 100%.
but when it comes to
Fuck,
their
man.
whole team situation, shit is not looking sweet. Shit is not sweet at all for their future. To me, if I'm Giannis, I'm saying, listen, I know being a one-team guy is a great thing, but if Giannis is to leave the Bucks, who's to blame him? I still think it doesn't make him a not loyal guy if he leaves the Bucks, because it's not like when LeBron left Cleveland and went to Miami, where it's like, oh, LeBron wanted to get a ring for Cleveland. He wanted to do this and that, and then he left. Or like KD could have brought one to Oklahoma City. There was definitely some unfinished business there. Him and Russ were just in the conference finals. Giannis has brought Milwaukee their most successful period, dare I say, ever. I mean, they only have one other championship, and they've pretty much been one of the top contenders in the East year in, year out, a couple conference finals appearances. So, like, at the bare minimum, their second most successful stretch ever. There's not really a lot left on the table there. I think at this point, if Giannis went to another team, won one more MVP there and another championship, that almost raises his all-time legacy, because it shows not only could you succeed here, but you could go somewhere else and succeed there as well and still be one of the best players in the league. Your game and your ability transcends anything. He didn't have to build a super team to get it done, but if he goes and he plays with a more stacked roster and gets it done again, there's no argument against that. It's a foolproof thing of, hey, he's proven he can do it as a solo star. So at this point, screw it. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it, and I'm cool with it. Now, do I think he's going to leave? Honestly, the more y'all talk about it, hell yeah. I think Giannis, not in the near future, not like next year or the year after, but I think by, say, 2027, 2028, he's probably on a different roster. That's like 5 years away, bro. You know how much changes in 5 years? Half the dudes that he's playing with are going to be like 37 or older. Like, that
So
team is going
now,
to be so cooked. They would have to go through a whole rebuild with him still there if he was going to be
You
there.
bring that up. You bring that up,
Let me-
and I
Go
just
ahead, Mo,
want
and
to
then I'll
say
go after.
his current contract. He's not. He has a player option in 25, 26. That is the last year, and then in 2026 he would be a unrestricted free agent. So again, I think the reason why we bring this up is because Giannis brought it up first. So I do think we might be a little premature in that, but again, this is extension talks that we're talking about. So again, Giannis don't got to sign nothing no time soon, because he's we still have to go through the 23-24 season. Then he has a season after that, and then when he's 31 is when he'll have that player option. So if it's not looking good for the Bucks, or it's not looking like how Giannis wants it to look, again, he don't got to sign an extension right away. He got some time, and it's not like he ain't making good money. 45 million this year, 48, 51 on the player option. So
It could be
like
more,
I said,
though. It could be
he
so
can wait.
much more.
He can
could
wait.
Yeah.
He could even, like, at the earliest, it's going to come next off season. It's maybe the earliest he can make a decision, because he could take the player option and get the extension. But I think for me, it's like, yeah, that is a possibility. I think we also have to consider, like, maybe there was more desire in that respect, where it's like, I need to go somewhere and win in 2020 when he did sign to stay with the Bucks, and I think everyone thought he was going to Miami, or everyone thought he was going like somewhere else at that point in
to the
time.
Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, some people thought he was just gonna leave, like, and I think that wasn't like a crazy thing at that time, but he said, you know what, I'm loyal to Milwaukee. I think we can get it done, even though a lot of people really counted them out that year. I mean, even going into that playoffs, a lot of people thought still the Heat would beat the Bucks, and even though the Bucks were a higher seed, in a way, it's a little similar to what we were just talking about with the Celtics and the Nets, because it's like you already saw this the year before. Everyone thought, you know what, like the Heat are gonna like embarrass them again. But what happened? The Bucks swept them in that year, and that's led eventually to their championship. So it's possible, but there's also a possibility where it's like Giannis is so true to Milwaukee that it's like a similar situation where it's like a Joe Dumars, where it's like he won titles with the Pistons and he was still there for like another 8 or 9 years after that. And then he became their GM, you know, because he still loved the Detroit community and like the fans and stuff like that. Or like a James Worthy, where it's like he won with Showtime. You know, everyone left, Magic left, Kareem left. He was still there for a couple years after that, even though he could have left somewhere else and like made his own name. And now I believe he still does like post-game stuff for the Lakers. So it's like, it could be something like that. And I feel like that's something maybe people don't want to hear, because they just want to see him leave, because it's like maybe something that's more entertaining for the NBA, obviously. But I don't think we can rule that out either.
Can I just say that I'm me personally, I'm more on the side that as Gabe, as he has nothing left to prove to Milwaukee. He brought them a chip. When he re-signed, that was his goal, to bring them a championship, and he did that. And I personally think that the Milwaukee fans are gonna understand if he does decide to leave, because, like you guys said, that team is old as shit. I mean, Chris Middleton is falling apart. I still think he's a good player, but can he now still be the Robin to Giannis' Batman? Don't think so. Brook Lopez
Just to ask you though, Jay, because I know like that was more so about like what he should do. What do you think like he will do? What will Giannis do?
I think he's gonna decline that play option and go elsewhere, to be honest. Like,
Really?
yeah,
He
I
can
mean,
make so
I feel
much
like,
more money, bro. Look at the
yeah,
money players are getting right now.
not only could he do that, but I feel like that press conference that he had after that loss, I think that's not just something that he just going to like brush off his shoulders. I think he actually wants to win. I think he's going to play with more of a chip on his shoulders. And if he sees that he can no longer do that in Milwaukee because he doesn't have the right pieces around him, I think he will explore other options. And he's not the type of, he doesn't have the type of play style that's going to last many years. I mean, we've seen recently, like this offseason, he got cleanup surgery on his knee. I mean, we don't know how long he can play at a high level. So I think he's going to take advantage of his prime as soon as possible.
I think this
And
is
honestly,
just like, oh, go ahead, Gabe.
Just talking about that player option, because we keep bringing up this player option, like opting in. The top players in the league at this point, I feel like usually opt out, and it's because they can get more money than that. You got to see Giannis, that player option is 51 mil. You see the money that players are getting right now. You see the money that Jaylen Brown just got. Dude, players now can make over by the time that year comes along,
80 million a year.
26, he could be making north of 65 million. Why would Giannis opt in when he can make 15 plus more $1 million that year, plus more years? And the top players in the league these days, they sign these like 2+1s or like these shorter deals, so that way they can really get the most money possible. And if this team isn't going to be that good, I don't think there's a world where he opts into this, because if the team is getting worse, then yeah, why am I taking a pay cut and not making the max amount of money if you don't have great pieces around me? But also, if I'm leaving, I'm also opting out, because whatever team I'm going to, I can still make more money.
I want to bring up Damian Lillard's not current contract. Yeah, Damian Lillard signed an extension, and so Damian Lillard currently he's on the second to last year of his current 4-year deal. He accepted he exercised his player option when he signed that extension. So he's making $45 million this year, $48 million, and then the 2025-26 season is when that next contract extension comes in. Remember, that's the 2-year $121 million to be signed, and then that's 25, 26, that's 58 million. And then he has a player option on that second year, that's 63 million. So yeah, with the money that's these new contracts is bringing, yeah, he can definitely get him some serious change. And that's also something to where at this point, would Giannis care about winning more so, or when you see that money in front of him, it's like, maybe I can stick it out because Giannis, I don't know where his head is at. I know that he wants to win, but that's a crazy amount of money for you to be turning down. And obviously, the Bucks that they'll be able to give him the most amount of money in free agency. So that's just something to think about. That Dame contract comes to mind, and he's going to be making more than that for sure. So,
can I just bring something up? Like, I feel like
no.
I think for at least like the players, and I'm not saying like Giannis, I'm not saying Dame does this, but like I still feel like there's a decent amount of players that do this. And I mean, Shaq is like a good example of it because he did it back in the day when he's like, well, if Alonzo Mourning's getting this, like I should be getting this, where it's like we're at a point in the NBA where it's like no matter what offseason you sign a contract or you sign a new deal, it's like you're going to be getting more than the rest of your peers like that offseason. So it's like, and again, I'm not saying like they do this, but I'm just saying like in terms of the money and like, oh, I want to make the most I can make. If players felt like that, like can like the players just stop caring so much about that aspect of it? Because it's like,
About the
okay,
money?
obviously
Nah,
well, yeah,
bro.
because
What? Bro,
here's what
I
I'm
want to make higher money than my peers.
like here's what I'm saying. Like if I signed a contract this year, let's say I signed a 5-year deal this year, and I'm like a top 20 player in the league, I'm going to be making more than like all my peers. Jaylen Brown, good example. But next year, like let's say Gabe is like in that boat and we're all like top 20 players. Well, Gabe's gonna be making more than me because my contract was signed last year and his was just signed. And then the next year it's Mo, and the next year it's Jay. And it's like it's going to happen for players of that caliber. They're going to get more money. It's just like so annoying when they keep comparing like the yearly salary thing when it's like contracts are different. And that's why I was thinking of when you brought up the extension that he signed Dame, because I'm like, if he has that extension for that long, I'm like, by the end of it, it's like that's not really going to seem like a lot of money for a player of that caliber, right? So it's just something I wanted to bring up. I don't know.
It's just funny how contracts are so in the moment things. Like I remember when Jimmy Butler signed that crazy contract that is up in what 1 year, 2 years, or something like that. It was like, yo, they paying him how much, and he's gonna be how old? And it's like that's not even a crazy contract that we looking at. Is like, well, number one, because they've made it to what 4 straight, or not 3 out of the last 4 conference finals, and they made it to 2 finals. So they haven't won, but shit, money well spent, if we're being honest. But like that's the way the NBA money is moving now. Is just like these contracts is really not going to be that crazy. I think the one that's going to stick out in everybody's head is obviously the Jaylen Brown contract. Something that come to mind is the recent LeBron extension because he signed 2 years. I think it was like 2 years, 100.
I think AD is gonna be bad, bro.
AD, because they looking to extend him. Wait, didn't?
No, they did. They did.
They just extended him.
I'm pretty sure you're making more than Jaylen Brown.
Right. Well, is Jaylen Brown's current is his contract extension? Was that a contract extension or a new contract? And if so, did it opt in? Did it kick in this year?
I know it's a contract extension. I'm not sure when it kicks in. Maybe the year after this.
But even still, I don't think Anthony Davis. He didn't sign like a 4. What did he sign?
No, I think it was like it was small. It was like 3.
So and again, it's because it's one of those smaller contracts, year wise, length wise, but it's going to be more money packed in there because of they not stretching it out for however many years. So the contracts, I think everybody reads a little bit too heavily into contracts. Obviously, when it was something like the Jaylen Brown contract, that's like crazy money, and we all have to pay attention to that. But in 2 years, and I would say even next year, when Tatum's due for his extension, are we going to be looking at that Jaylen Brown contract like, damn, he making so much money? Nah. You want to know why? Because the next guy is going to be making even more than him, and there's nothing we can do about that. The new TV deal, the cap goes up every year. It's just money's flowing in.
Jaylen Brown is very right place, right time because
for sure,
this was
definitely.
like a
And
week.
that
This was like a weaker
that
free agency period, and so guys that are better would have got more money, but nobody signed that long of a deal that was better than Jaylen Brown. Like you see, I mean, the AD extension was 3 years, averages out to 59 mil a year, so it's right about the same. But you got to think yeah, Jaylen Brown sticks out so much because he's a guy that's not even top 15, making the most money in the league. Now, the next guy is definitely going to make more money, but if the next guy that got a contract that big, just say food for thought, if the next guy that got a contract that big was Luka Doncic is not the best player in the NBA, but if you see, who makes the most money in the NBA right now? Luka Doncic? That makes sense. I understand that. Whereas saying who makes the most money in the NBA right now? Jaylen Brown? It just it doesn't make sense.
Remember,
right.
at one point in time, Mike Conley has signed the richest NBA contract in NBA history. That wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago.
Which
Based on nowadays, that stood for quite a bit. It was 2.5 years.
All right, so fellas, how about this Noah Lyles situation? What's going on with him, bro?
All right, man.
Somebody else want to take the reign on this one.
Let me
go, Gabe, first.
Let me go.
Yeah, what's he talking about, bro?
I get it on one hand because the NBA.
Well, for people who don't know, explain what he said real quick.
So basically, the whole argument is when an NBA team wins the NBA Finals, they call themselves the world champions. And the guy who said this, he was an Olympian or something of that nature, an international competitor. So he's well, the NBA is only in one country. So you're basically just champs of the United States. And this is kind of my thoughts on it. Whereas are NBA Finals champions world champions, or are they just champions of the United States? Yes, the NBA is located in the United States. And yes, there are other
Canada.
Yeah, but the Raptors play 41 of their games in the United States. There's 41 games played outside the United States a year.
I just wanted to point it out. And Canada.
So, I mean, at that point, I understand the argument where you just won the United States-based league, but the NBA, while being a United States league, is not all just American players. It's players from all over the world. The best players from every other country come to the NBA to play. The best player, Luka Doncic, he's a star, and he led his country to a bronze medal or something in international competition. Guess where he plays during the season? Texas. He plays in the United States. Every country's best players come to this one league. So to me, because if you were having this conversation in 1980, where the league was way less globalized and there were way less prominent international players that were coming over, okay, you might have an argument then. But these days, where the game is so globalized, where half of your top 10 players list is players that aren't even from this country, it's at that point, yes, it's based here, but when the Olympics were in Tokyo, they weren't the Japan champions, they were the world champions. It's still the collection of the best teams and the best players from around the world that just happen to meet in this country. But when you win the NBA Finals, your team beat the best crop of basketball talent, not just in this country, but in the world. Therefore, you're the best basketball team in the world. If there was a better basketball team in Europe, Luka Doncic, Giannis, Jokic, all these players, they will be playing in that league because they're the best players in the world and they'd be playing against the best competition. But they play in this league. And if you beat the best players in the world, you're the world champions.
Hey, very well said, Gabe.
I think for me, I don't know how this will come across, but at least for me,
not talking shit, Garrett.
So I heard the way he said it, and for the first thing I will say is I don't think he meant bad intent with what he was saying at all. He seemed like he was kind of saying it just kind of joking around, whatever. And like he did seem like he meant it, but it's like it didn't seem like he wanted it to be like a big thing like that. You know what I mean? I don't think he was trying to like insult the NBA quite like that. But I know he said like what hurts me most or whatever. Like, but I think he was just, I don't know, like at least of the vibe I got from him, I don't think that's what he meant. Now, at least for me, I kind of see where he's coming from in the sense where it's like when we're talking about, and you even brought up like the Olympics, Gabe, where it's like if the Olympics were in Tokyo, it's like they're not the Japan champions, but the Olympics will feature like people of every country representing each one, and so it's bringing all these countries together. While the U.S., especially like now, like more countries are like involved and stuff like that, there's still like quite a bit of countries that maybe like haven't found their groove or found their place in the NBA. I mean, like China's one of the biggest countries, and like how many great players have we seen from China other than like Yao Ming or something like that, or you know what I mean? Like there just really isn't all too many. And I think like at least for me, it's like I would say it makes sense. And like, okay, so and you even brought up like the 80s and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it is a little bit different than back then. I think also maybe there are other circumstances as well. And I'm not even like, I know this is from the 80s, but it's like, take Arvydas Sabonis, for example, where it's like he's someone who, while he did come over to the NBA, it's like he was at his best in 1986, 1987-ish when he got drafted, but he couldn't come over for 9 years because there was a war in Ukraine. And it basically halted him coming over in time to showcase his talent in the NBA. He could still play for Lithuania, but not so much for the NBA until 1995 when all that subsided. So it's like there might be other issues or other things that we don't really hear too much about. I think even like in the story about Giannis on Disney Plus, that like Rise documentary or something like that, like there was something where it's like if he got picked 2 picks lower, there was no way he was going to ever like last in the NBA. I don't know like the full details on that. I would have to look more into that. But like the point is like there are other circumstances where it's like, but everyone can play for their own, team and play for their own Olympic team that they represent. So I think from that perspective, I think he has a point. And the other thing is like, at least when I heard like people talking about it, because I don't think people need to like blast the guy for saying what he said. I mean, I think he meant it with good intent, like I said. But I also think that when people were saying something like, well, if you combine like the best like European talent and put it against, the best players in the best team in the NBA, whether it's like the Nuggets because they just won the title, it's like they wouldn't even stand a chance. And that doesn't make sense to me, because if we're thinking about the international aspect, it's like you put Jokic together on a team and Wemby and Luka and Gobert and stuff like that. Like, no disrespect, but that team is more talented. And I didn't even list like the second half of all those other guys that would qualify. Like that team would more than likely win a championship in the NBA if they were assembled together. Even if you like cloned everyone and still kept like Jokic on the Nuggets and still kept like Wemby on the Spurs or whatever you wanted to do. Like, and so I feel like the Olympics. Wait, what'd you say?
That's a whole continent versus one country. That's also.
That is.
I feel like that's a weird argument because, like,
I'm saying what people are saying
is like, it's like representing your country, like playing for your country, and playing at a global level are two things that are not the same. Like, it's still like, yes. Jokic is not playing for Serbia. Luka is not playing for Slovenia. Like, there's a mix of players from different countries on every team, but it's still the best crop of international talent in the world. Like, it's like, yes, some of those huge countries don't have that many players in the NBA, but I promise you, fucking Dwight Howard goes to Taiwan and he's the best player there. Stephon Marbury goes to China. Jimmer Fredette goes to China. They're the best players there. The crop of talent is not as good. The best talent in the world on a global level from all across the world. Do you know why those players from China or from Taiwan or from wherever the fuck are not in the NBA? It's because they're not better than NBA players.
I just think that it's more so like a world level. And you guys might disagree, but bringing like the Olympics or FIBA together, you're going to get that more so than something else where it's like just on a national level, which is the NBA. You know,
Yeah,
it's
the
just
NBA is not a national level. There's
Wait.
players from all over the world. It's the best players from
the
all over the world.
locations are, and everything within there is. It's just the players come from all over the world. But I think at least for especially those guys that are international, you know, they would take a lot of pride, I'm sure. Take Manu Ginobili, for example. When he won gold in 04, I mean, I'm sure he loved winning NBA championships as well in the NBA, right? But I would bet money that winning in 2004, the gold, over a collection of NBA talent, like, you know what I mean? Like, that probably felt like the greatest achievement. And so for them, a lot of those guys that maybe aren't holding the best talent in the world, which you see like from a basketball sense here in the US and Canada and stuff like that, like that's going to have a bigger meaning for them. And I think on a world level, when you're playing with the Olympics and FIBA, that's where you get the best chance to exhibit that.
I feel like that's a little subjective, especially with players that grew up playing in the Euro League. I mean, I feel like they'll naturally be more passionate about that.
About like winning in the like Olympics and FIBA.
Yeah, if you grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been said from multiple players that have played for different national teams that it would mean more to them to win for their country than win a than win an NBA title. So I don't think that that's the craziest thing ever. But as far as this goes, I have a bit of a different take. Nothing like crazy, but one, I think that yeah, the talent level for basketball in the U.S. is obviously higher than the rest of the world. But two, I feel like a little, just a little bit of the because some of the guys that I saw responded were Kevin Durant responded. I know Dame responded. I think Devin Booker responded. Those guys actually won like gold for Team USA in the 2020 Olympics. They were held in 2021 though. So those guys are, for all intents and purposes, world champions. Two, the statement by Noah was like a little just like, where did that come from? Because you're celebrating 2 gold medals, and why are you talking about basketball? It was just kind of like weird. Three, I don't know if he knows, but they playing right now to determine who would be the world champions, as he made as is so eloquently put, because this is an international tournament. But a lot of things that I've seen online, and this is Twitter, so of course it's not going to be the greatest takes ever, but there's been a lot of non-Americans saying, well, you shouldn't call this, you should call it a national national champions. Well, one, there's a reason we don't do that, and we don't call the NFL and the MLB and the NBA national champions. It's because that's tied into our college system. The national champions of football are Georgia, because they won the national championship. The national championships for basketball is who won the UConn? It's UConn, because they won UConn, right? UConn. Yeah. It's UConn. So non-Americans, yeah, that was a really weird Final Four. Florida Atlantic, like what the fuck? But non-Americans aren't going to understand that, because they don't know that we use the national champion moniker for our college level teams. Now, as far as the world champion thing goes, the NBA doesn't even like call NBA champions world champions like that anymore. I know it says that on the rings, but like I don't remember the last time I've heard anybody say that the last team to win an NBA championship is world champions. We don't even refer to it like that. So that's another reason where I'm like, I don't know why Noah Lyles even brought that up, because we don't refer to it as that. But for football and mainly for baseball, because it's called the World Series. But for football, I know they refer to themselves as world champions, but we're talking about basketball. So it's just a few oddities with why this was even brought up. And then again, this is, I think, the most obvious thing that I don't think anybody's brought up. If I look at every I had it brought up, but I was going to look up every single time that the United States has played international basketball, and I was going to list off their wins. But the last FIBA like tournament that we participated in, not including this one, I think we got third. We've won. Let's see, the Japan Olympics, the Olympics before that, which was 2016. I think that was Rio. 2012 Olympics, which was London. 2008 Olympics, which was Beijing. 2004 was the last one we lost, and we came in third. And then before that, where there's an undefeated streak in the Olympics going back towards, I know it's before 92, 80. It might be like 80 or something like that, when the last time that the United States didn't win gold in the Olympics. So I say all that to say, Noah Lyles, yeah, you're not even technically, you're right. We're not world champions because it's a domestic league. But counterpoint, the United States has been whooping everybody's ass in the international basketball play for so long. I don't give a fuck. We can call ourselves the world champions all we want because we whooping everybody ass when it comes to international play. So that's just me. But yeah, it's just like a weird, like, why did this even get brought up?
Yeah,
I wonder.
I'll just leave it at this. It's like, yeah, like the world championship thing, like you said, like not really, people don't even say it like that as much anymore. But like I get where he's coming from the perspective of like all different countries and stuff like that being represented in one area and like fighting for it. Like I think that's what I get what he meant. And like I think it got blown out of proportion because at least from me, I mean, I'm not like an expert or anything, but like at least the tone of voice from like the way he said it, it didn't seem like he meant like to like bash the NBA like that, really.
Yeah, I don't think he was meaning
degree.
to like shit on the NBA, but you know how the internet is, and they take shit and run with it. But damn it, I want to find this Team USA like Olympic play or international play.
I still
like,
just
the
I do
most
not
recent
understand.
results.
I just don't understand this whole concept of like just the champs of America because you're not playing against just Americans. That's what I don't understand, bro. If it was a national championship, you would be the best in your nation. But it's not just people from this nation that are playing in the NBA. It's not just a domestic competition, bro. Like if it was only Americans allowed in the NBA, that is a valid argument. However, it's not just Americans in the NBA. If I'm playing in an NBA playoffs where literally half the players are from all around the world, are from different countries, how is a guy that's not from America the champion of America? You're the champion of the world, bro. You're the best basketball player on earth.
Yeah, I just think like there is like certain situations, like I said, of like whether it's like the Sabonis thing or like even like Petrovic, like was kind of the same thing. Like it's like sometimes like it's like uncontrollable, like when they can come over to the NBA. So it's like if they were playing for their country at that point, because like I think Sabonis is a good example, just because like he played for Lithuania many times over those years that he wasn't in the NBA, even though he was drafted, and like Portland had his draft rights, like he couldn't come over. So it's like he could play, but it's like only for representing Lithuania. So it's like I don't know, like there's some nuance things to that, and I know that was like a while ago, so it's probably not as crazy now, but like clearly like there are still instances like that. And I think it's just like best to just like kind of leave it as it is. Like let when the countries are getting together and like they're fighting for like an Olympic gold medal or like for the gold in FIBA, like you know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with you that the NBA is the best league. So it's like winning there, it's like you're beating the best collection of talent. But I don't, like Mo said, I don't think
Like
people
I
call
said,
it a world championship as much anymore.
like representing your
Found it, by the
country,
way.
representing your country and representing a professional team are two very different things. And I think people need to understand that. It has nothing to do with Team USA versus other teams. It's one club basketball team playing versus another club basketball team. It's not the World Cup. It's Champions League.
So, real quick, before we put a button on this topic, this is going back to the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games. This is every gold medal that Team USA has won in the Olympics. So, 1936, 1948, 1952, 56, 60, 64, 68, 76, 84, 92, which if you know anything about basketball and you know anything about the Dream Team, 92 was when the Dream Team like became a thing. So he was whooping ass
when they
way
allowed
before.
the actual NBA players to compete because it was all college.
That's what I'm
prior.
saying. That's why the Dream Team was named the Dream Team. Fun fact if you didn't know. We was whooping ass before that. But continuing, 92, that's the Dream Team. 96 was actually when it was held in Atlanta. 2000, Sydney. Again, 04, we came in third. We got bronze. 2000, 2000 was Sydney. After 04, we haven't dropped the gold since 08, 2012, 2016, 2021. And I think, it's going to continue in 2024. And shit, if you want to look at the FIBA, we're probably going to win this FIBA World Cup as well. So USA on top. And I don't claim this country until the Olympics come around. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's so real. That's so real. That's so real.
That's so real. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's the most. That's most of the world probably.
Yeah. I'm not
That's probably
patriotic until
most
the
of the
World
world.
Cup or the Olympics, bro.
Hey,
If there's a World Cup and Team USA is decent, all of a sudden I'm the biggest soccer fan on earth. But I couldn't
Hell yeah.
I couldn't tell you 5 players in the Premier League, bro.
hey, listen,
I
listen.
can tell you like 3, maybe.
Hey,
I'm
no
trying to get
allows.
better, though.
No allows. Listen, my brother, stick to track and field. Unless you could do a in and out hezzy pull up jumper.
He's athletic as fuck. He probably could.
All right, next
Wait,
topic.
wait,
Next topic,
Jake, can
next
you
topic.
do it in and out as you pull a jumper?
Next topic. All right,
That's
so
crazy.
we're going to be discussing
It's
the
the
X
last topic before the mini
factors.
game, right?
Yeah, last topic before the mini game. Yeah. So we're going to be discussing every X factor for each Eastern Conference team, and we're going to start with the Boston Celtics. What do you guys think is the biggest X factor for this team to be successful?
Can I start off with this one?
Yes, sir.
I think the X factor is Malcolm Brogdon because everyone wants to talk about this guy is injured, this and that. Like, and even last year he did have an injury too, but let's not forget when this guy was healthy, he was playing like he almost joined the 50, 40, 90 club again, which he would have done that twice. Only 2 other players in NBA history have done that. And then also like just being the player that they need to come off the bench and provide them a spark plug, be a playmaker, provide solid defense. Like they definitely need that off the bench. And he's just a straight up professional player. Like when you think of the best pros in the league, like he's got to be like a top 10, like straight up pro in the NBA, because it's like he's strictly business. He doesn't get like bothered with like the stupid nonsense, like aside of things. He's never in drama. He's laid back. He's easy to talk to. He can be like a leader, like in the locker room, talking with teammates. But they need that clearly because when he was injured this year, I mean, you saw the way they unraveled in the playoffs. And it wasn't even like they just went down 3-0, but like to Boston, but like they struggled against Atlanta and, they struggled against Philly. Like, and I don't know. I just think Brogdon's the guy.
For me, I'm going to go with Porzingis. I really, really like the addition of Porzingis, and I think that he takes their defense from very good, but at times directionless to elite all the time. So that's going to be a big sticking point for me. Hopefully he's healthy by the time the season comes around and he can stay healthy because I really, really, really want to see what Porzingis adds to his team. Not only that, but he can space the floor, give them more consistent three-point shooting, which they need because their offensive game plan is drive and kick, and that's like it. But, Porzingis is my X factor for the Boston Celtics.
I got a different one than both of you. So me, an X factor is the guy that's their play or what they can contribute is a question mark. But if the question mark ends up turning into a positive, that's going to take this team to the next level. And for me, that's Time Lord. I think Robert Williams literally in 2022 was about to win Defensive Player of the Year. And then he got injured towards the end of the season, and they gave it to Marcus Smart because they were the best defense in the league. I will stand on that. Robert Williams was literally leading the race, and I had him as my pick. And then all of a sudden, Marcus Smart moved into the number 1 spot as soon as Time Lord got injured. He is going to be the guy for them on the defensive side of the ball. They have good defenders, but he is such a big piece for them, and especially now that Marcus Smart is not there anymore as a high-level defender, his role on the defensive side is going to be even more important. Al Horford's only going to continue to get older, and so while he is a good paint protector, what Rob Williams does as a rim protector and on the defensive side of the ball overall, if he can stay healthy and be at 100%, that takes this team to another level, and I think that takes them to their best level. But we don't know if we're going to get that from him because he's really struggled to stay healthy. So if we can get a consistent Robert Williams, this team is at a different level.
See, I like all y'all picks. Me personally, I'm gonna have to go with Porzingis. I don't know. I don't think necessarily that he elevates their defense from what it was last year, but I do think he's going to make their offense a lot more versatile. They're gonna see a lot more. He's gonna see a lot of post touches. He can also stretch the floor. I think he's going to take a lot of Al Horford's minutes. As you saw, he wasn't really effective in the playoffs, Al Horford. But injury, being healthy for Kristaps Porzingis is the biggest thing. As long as he can stay on the floor, I think that Boston Celtics team is going to be really good. But the next team we got is the Brooklyn Nets. Who y'all guys the X factor?
This was a hard one for me. I'll go ahead and go first. To me, when I was thinking of who's the X factor, like I say, it's like the guy who their performance or what they're going to contribute can like change the direction or the level of this franchise. And so Brooklyn, they're a team who, regardless, I don't think is going to be that great next year. So my guy was Cam Thomas. A lot of you guys might, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the only guy that had him. But my reasoning is this team's not playing for anything high level. What they can do right now, if Cam Thomas shows himself to be a special type of player or just like a good starting quality player, because he's been so inconsistent with both his opportunity and his production. If he ends up really being a somebody and a reliable go-to like part of this team, he becomes a very valuable asset. I think going into the future, if this team wants to enter a full rebuild in the next couple of years, he'll become more valuable and he could be something that they could get something big out of. And if he really ends up being that good, he could just end up being one of their backcourt guys for the future. Because right now, I don't think those positions are set in stone at all. So a lot of the future of both their backcourt and their direction as a franchise really hinges on what he could be versus I kind of think what Mikal Bridges is his value is not going to get much higher because it's already sky high right now. And Cam Johnson, another guy who a lot of people might say, I think he does have some room to grow, but I think the versatility and what his floor is as an asset and what his ceiling is as an asset is not nearly as drastic as Cam Thomas.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
So I'm gonna go next. I think it's pretty obvious, but I mean I'm gonna say it anyway. Ben Simmons. We don't know what Ben Simmons we're gonna get, and I'm not gonna spend too much time on Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. But if we see a slight return of form, then I don't see him staying on this Nets team. Hopefully they can get some trade pieces from Ben Simmons and hopefully speed their rebuild along. But yeah, I'm gonna just go with him just because out of everybody on this roster, he has the highest upside that we have seen, and any sort of like return to that form would be greatly beneficial to this Nets team in the long run, seeing as he's not going to be there in the long run. So yeah, Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I also had Ben Simmons, and on top of that, it's like like you said, Gabe, I don't think the Nets are going to be that good next year. So it's like, what could possibly alter that, if anything? And while Cam Thomas will probably have a better year this year, and there's a few other guys that probably will as well on that team. I mean, we've seen Ben Simmons play like a top 20, 25 player in the league at some point. If he can even, like, he's the guy that maybe has a chance to do that. It's just a matter of if he will. So, like, he could make them a substantially better team than they might be. I don't expect it, but like if anyone's gonna change the trajectory of the Nets this year, it'll probably be him. So I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons as well.
So yeah, I like those picks out of you guys. Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, both very good picks. Me personally, I got Mikal Bridges. I didn't want to go for a main guy, the X factor, but I had to do it. I think Mikal Bridges is that guy, and I do believe he could be the main guy on a playoff team and take this net squad to the playoffs. If he can reach a All NBA level and dare I say even hit that Kawhi-less ceiling, I think the Brooklyn Nets can be a very, very hard out when it comes to the playoffs.
And he does not have a Kawhi-esque ceiling. Stop it right now, bro. I'm not letting you get that off.
Maybe a poor man's Kawhi. He could be like a poor man's Kawhi, but he's not Kawhi.
As long as he keeps developing his offensive tools, it could be there. But the next team we're gonna cover is my New York Knicks. Who y'all guys the X factor?
I'm gonna start this one off, man. Um, I, it's funny because like y'all traded away a good amount of people that I think I would have considered as one of your X factors, but
Really?
I mean RJ is bro. If can we see some sort of consistency from RJ, bro? Please, like the
That's fair.
talent's there. I see. I hate one of my pet peeves is when the talent's there, they just don't know how to put it all together, and it just frustrates me so much because I got one of those on my team, and I hate it, bro. I hate it. But RJ, I think he's the key that unlocks the door to where this Knicks team can be in the future if they do everything in the right way. So RJ is the next X factor.
All right,
I'm
then.
a
So,
oh I was gonna go with one that might seem it might seem crazy, and I was honestly thinking between two players because it seems pretty straightforward out there. But I think I'm gonna go with Jalen Brunson. And I'm gonna go with Jalen Brunson because I think last year, coming off that contract, people thought, yeah, he would maybe get more of a shine with the Knicks, but they're not gonna do anything. Like he's just gonna kind of get better numbers a little bit, but it's like that contract still isn't that good. Now going to this season, coming off the playoffs that he just had, it's about is he going to be able to keep it up for a full 82 when now teams are expecting him to be the guy on the team. And I was honestly thinking about putting Randall on here because last time he had a great year, the next year he kind of floundered. He couldn't back it up. But at least from Randall, I feel like we've come to the point where it's like we can predict inconsistencies like year in and year out, and whether he has a great year or not, like I don't know for sure what we'll get, but at least with Brunson, like I think most people are expecting he's going to continue to play at a high level, but we've also seen players where it's like they go into a full season after catching people a little bit off guard and things just aren't the same. So if he can continue to build off of last year, especially last year in the playoffs, then the Knicks are going to be better than people expect once again.
yeah, I don't think like Jalen Brunson really has a game that's built to have like a fall off season versus like a Julius Randle. Julius Randle's peak seasons were based a lot off of very difficult shot making and especially some outside shooting that you really hadn't seen from him before to that point, at least consistently. And to that point, consistency is such a huge thing. I think even Brunson in Dallas proved like especially in that like the last bit there and the like that last playoff run they had. I think he's a pretty consistent guy overall and I think he'll provide a lot to them pretty much regardless. So for me, that's why I went with RJ the same as Mo, is because, like I said, with X Factors, your performance, there's a big question mark, but if that question mark turns into a positive, that can take this team to the next level. I think with where the Knicks are right now, there's a very solid roster, but I think that RJ needs to take a step for this team to get beyond stagnation as the second round out was very good, but I don't see this team reaching the conference finals if he doesn't take a step because Jalen Brunson can't do it by himself. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think Julius Randle, especially specifically the playoff version of Julius Randle, I don't think that's getting any better than what we've seen. But I think RJ is still young enough and fresh enough. And like Mo said, has that talent to where he could put it all together and he could help elevate them a bit more than I think anybody else on this roster could.
See,
Just to add one thing real quick before you go, Jay, like at least my Jalen Brunson thinking was like the last couple years, no one's had the same expectation for him to rise the same way because I think people just thought like, oh, he's going to lose to the Cavs. Like the Cavs are winning that. Or the year before, the Jazz will beat the Mavs. Now it's like a situation where it's like the hunter and the prey, where it's like, something to that extent where it's like now the roles are a little bit flipped and we got to see how he's going to lead that charge this coming year.
so I respect that take, Garrett. I will just say that although people didn't expect Jalen Brunson to be the player that he turned out to be, regardless, he did see a lot of really difficult defenses thrown at him, specifically in that Cavs series and more specifically in the Heat series. I think Jalen Brunson is going to continue to get better. But when it comes to RJ Barrett, I also agree he is the X factor. But my X factor personally is Emmanuel Quickly. Bro, when Emmanuel Quickly is good, I swear to God, we're unbeatable. The pace he provides for our team, the defense, and especially the firepower, I just need him to clean up that shot selection and just be smarter with the basketball, and the Knicks will be a really hard team to beat. All right, but the next team we got is the 76ers. Yo, what is their X factor, bro?
Can I start with this one?
Yeah.
Go ahead. This one is just depressing.
My X factor is James Harden, because
Reasonable.
I think the X factor is James Harden. I feel like, honestly, the more you think about it, it becomes a little bit more obvious, because like this team can't move anywhere until they decide what's going to happen with him, whether it's a trade or whether things somehow magically flipped and it worked out. Okay, nothing is going to be conducive for the Sixers moving forward until they can get this James Harden thing resolved. And so for that, like, you could talk about Embiid playing well all you want, or Tobias or Maxey taking a lead, but it's like nothing is going to happen with the future outlook of this team until the James Harden situation is resolved or he's gone or whatever it may be. It all roots to him. So that's my X factor for that reason.
I got Maxey only because I suspect that this James Harden saga is probably going to be over with by the trade deadline, and I still think that whatever move happens, it's not going to be a move that takes this team from a fringe contender to like out of contention completely. I still think they're going to have some like a small window, especially depending on whatever they get back. So Maxey is my X factor for the Sixers just because he had a great season last year. The Sixers are going to obviously they're going to lean on him more with the absence of Harden. I don't know if he said that he's going to play or not, but if he does play, that's one thing. If he doesn't play, obviously they're going to lean on him harder. And when he is going, that responsibility is not going to go away anytime soon. So I got Maxey as the X factor for the Sixers team.
So once again, I do have a different player than both of you. I think the arguments make sense, but to me, I kind of predicted it as if James Harden, he's either out the door, or if he's there, he's not going to be giving it his all. So as far as what the team's success is this year, like I kind of had to go as if they're not getting good production for him, and they're probably not bringing in anything that's going to immediately contribute in any sort of trade scenario, because it's going to be a mid-season thing, and we know that usually doesn't immediately contribute to big things. Even Kevin Durant got traded at the trade deadline this year, and it didn't immediately lead to a title. Like, no matter how good it is, you have to have a gel period there. So I went with a guy currently on the team and a guy who's been on the team for a while. I went with Tobias Harris, and it's because I'm pretty confident that I think Tyrese Maxey is going to step up and be that lead backcourt guy. So it honestly was a bit less of a question mark for me. I think he showed out very well last season in the opportunity that he did get, and he showed me big things in playoff series, specifically against my Raptors. And just across the board, I think with his increased efficiency that he had last season, I really do think he's ready to take that type jump. And then we know what Joel Embiid is going to provide. So really that next guy and that third guy who they're going to have to lean on if they want to do anything significant is going to have to be a jump from Tobias Harris. He still makes so much money on this roster, and he's really been able to take the back seat because it's always been Embiid and another star guy. And Maxey, while he is on the up and he's very good, he is not James Harden. He's not Jimmy Butler. He's not peak Ben Simmons. He's not the same level of these guys. So you do need that third guy who's been Tobias to step up a little bit more than he has these past couple of seasons.
Yeah, so my X factor for this Sixers team, I wanted to go James Harden because he's so essential to what the Sixers want to do. But I'm right there with you, Gabe. I got Tobias Harris. This is the last year Tobias Harris is on that fat ass contract, and he's going to have to play spectacular regardless of what the Sixers got going on. I mean, he wants to bag this upcoming offseason, of course. And Tobias Harris has been vocal saying that if he gets more touches, that he can be more effective. So I'm definitely looking at him in his direction when it comes to the 76ers this season. So the next team we got is the Toronto Raptors. Yo, what's the X factor?
Yeah, I got to go first. I mean, it's my team.
I'll go second for this one.
Like I keep saying, the X factor is the guy who the direction and how good this franchise can be hinges on them. It's Scotty Barnes. It's 1,000% Scotty Barnes, because this team is basically trapping itself into not rebuilding right now. And if Scotty Barnes can break out and show that he's truly that next guy, he could put the front office into a situation where they finally have to pull that trigger and rebuild. If he's just that good that you're like, yeah, I'm the guy for the next 5-6+ years, like, what are you going to sit here and keep OG, keep Pascal? Nah, you're going to move off of him. But also, if he kind of continues to stagnate like he did last year, then they might say, well, what we got is really better than these youth pieces we have in a Scotty and a Grady Dick. And they might say, well, I guess the best we can be right now is just trying to get better with Pascal, OG, and what we got there. So how good Scotty is going to be so important. And even beyond that, because that's just bigger franchise direction, when it comes to just as a team, there's no point guard on the roster, really. There's Dennis Schroeder and Malachi Flynn. And neither of those guys at this stage in their career should be your full-time starting point guard if you want to do anything significant. And this is a front office who, like, successfully or not, wants to do something significant, which is why they have one all-star player, one young rising guy, and a very high-level 3-and-D guy and OG leading the charge. They want to do something, and they need a player who's going to step up at the point guard position. And the guy who they want to put in that position right now is Scotty Barnes. I don't know if he has that full-time point forward, point guard-ish type. Like, I don't know if he has that kind of skill set to do that full-time, but that's the responsibility that they're about to have to put on him. So, like, he's really going to have to come into his own there, and just from all these things going into each other, the future of this franchise significantly hinges on his output this season.
Hey, I think you hit it right on the head, bro. Couldn't have said it better myself. Raptors fan. I was also gonna go with Scotty Barnes, bro. We got to see that improvement. I mean, granted, he was only a second-year player, right?
Yeah, last year was year 2.
Yeah, year 3 or year 2?
Last year
he's going into year 3.
Okay, so he was only a second-year player last year. It has room to grow. I think a lot of people got a little scared when they didn't see him jump off the stat sheet or anything, but that's nothing that, like, a simple sophomore slump can't, it happens. So Scotty Barnes, X Factor, I definitely think we're going to see a better season from him than last season, and then that's the jumping off point, and we're going to go from there.
I'm going to just go a little different and say Dennis Schroeder and Malachi Flynn, mainly because their guard depth sucks. And I think that's, like, it's been a concern the last couple of years, and at least you've had Fred VanVleet, but it's like, what are they going to get out of these guys? And, like, because it seems like a downgrade, it's like, it just seems like the Raptors are going to be a worse team because of it. They didn't fill that void of losing VanVleet. Obviously, they didn't want to pay him that much that Houston did, but it's like, they didn't fill in the void, and it's also like they're stuck in a weird place right now. So it's like, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to get out of Siakam by now. I know what I'm going to get out of Gary Trent. I know what I'm going to get out of OG Anunoby. Scotty Barnes, he's been there a couple years, and granted, he could take a leap, but it's like the guard play will probably be the biggest thing with this team.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all talking about the guard play like I don't have Mr. New York City on y'all roster. What's going on, man? I ain't gonna lie, my X factor for the Toronto Raptors, it's Masai Ujiri. Yo, you are a greedy motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie. When I look at that roster,
nah, that's a great take.
When I look at that roster, you guys have too much talent to not be a playoff team, dog.
That's a
good
take. Team building is terrible.
Make some type of move, like Garrett brought up. You lost Fred VanVleet for nothing. Like, guys nowadays, when they move on to a new team, you at least do a sign and trade. But you didn't even want to move on from him at the trade deadline because I guess you weren't getting enough. You lost him for nothing. Now the Raptors are mid.
What a great that's such a good take. I gotta respond to that because I've been very critical of the front office, and I think even beyond what you said, bro, the X factor is Masai Ujiri picking a fucking direction. Like, do we want to compete or do we want to rebuild? Because we're bringing in Scotty Barnes and Grady Dick and having this youth movement. At the same time, you got Marquise Noel coming in. He wants to be the greatest Raptor ever, so he might have some potential in him. But then on the other end, you got OG, Pascal, Gary Trent still here, and Fred VanVleet was here. You didn't want to get off of him. He had to choose to leave in free agency. Like, yeah, they got to pick a direction. That's facts. That's a great take. You might be on this side because it might be reversed on YouTube, but that's a great take.
They got to pick a direction, and we the North, so
hey,
I'm sorry.
And the Hey, the next team, Chicago Bulls fans. Hey, what's y'all X factor, bro?
Garrett, you want to start this off, or should I?
I feel like I know who you might say, so I'm gonna go a different route, and I'll go first. But hey, I'm actually, because I did originally have who I think you're gonna pick, but I'm gonna go. Jay inspired me. Okay, the X factor is gonna be Jerry Reinsdorf, because at this point, bro, how many years has it been that this dude is just content with selling tickets, and even over the last couple years hasn't hit the same as it did like more than 5 years ago, and the numbers reflecting it too. So it's like, are we just going to be, I've heard AK say more than enough, like that. Oh, it's the parody of the league that's kicking our buns, or oh, it's just like we still think we can contend. You can't contend at all. They're done. They can't contend. We're waiting on Lonzo Ball, and hopefully he has a full recovery. But the guy is going to go on at the end of this year. It's going to be 3 years, basically, since we've seen him on the court, roughly, if you round. So it's like, give it up, dude. Because DeMar DeRozan this summer, is going to be a free agent. And it's like, you would think, okay, they could move off of him, maybe go a different direction. And there's rumors that they want to keep him around long term. Why? Why do you want to keep him around long term? You're just going to set us back further and further, more and more. And DeMar, I like DeMar. I've loved everything he's done for us. But it's like, you got to decide what you want to do, dude. Like, it's just point blank simple. And because Jerry Reinsdorf has been the constant through Gar Forman and John Paxson, and now through Arturas Karnisovas, and like through Billy Donovan and Fred Hoiberg and Jim Boylan and Tom Thibodeau and all those guys, it's on you. And hold on a second. You know what? No. Let me just
God.
I just gotta
Tee up, bro.
It's on you. It's on you, Jerry Reinsdorf. You have to fix this mistake. You've been the constant there all throughout the years, and right now we're the worst organization in the NBA. Fix it now. All right. That's all I have to say.
Hey,
now.
look,
That's
man,
Yo, Cook.
you see the Chicago flag, bro. I got enough to say about Jerry Reinsdorf because Garrett, you have to deal with him for the Bulls, but you don't have to deal with him for the Cubs. I do.
Yeah,
Well,
that is true.
I have to deal with him for the Sox is what I should have said. But so hey, thank you for speaking on Jerry Reinsdorf because that motherfucker. Anyway, moving on to the Bulls. There's a few ways I could have went with this. If I went with one, then I would have been picking two players because they fill this similar roles for us as young players. But nah, bro, Zach LaVine, I got your jersey. You are our X factor. Bro. We gonna go as far as you take us. And I say that knowing that Billy Donovan is probably not gonna have Zach LaVine be our number one option still. But bro, please, bro, you are like, and shout out to DeMar DeRozan because DeMar DeRozan for what he's done, he's made me happier than I've been as a Bulls fan in a very long time. But Zach LaVine, bro, if I'm looking at you as our franchise guy, I want to feel something, bro. Please, just like show out, have a All NBA caliber year, do something, bro, because it's so fucking hard being a Bulls fan, bro. It's just
Bulls fans appreciating DeMar DeRozan just make me.
Please tell the team.
Happy.
That's how you know how down bad they are, bro.
Bro. What was that? DeMar slander?
Oh yeah.
What? Wow.
That's crazy, bro. Don't ever slander my favorite player ever again.
Who slandered
DeRozan?
Nobody slandered Curry.
I'm confused. Oh,
bro.
All right, buddy. Anyway,
I love seeing the Bulls fans show love to DeMar DeRozan. But anyways, my X factor for this team was once again based on what their direction is, even if it's a bad direction. I got Patrick Williams. I've heard.
That's who I thought I would say.
Patrick Williams and Joyer. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Hold on, real quick, Gabe. I was gonna say Patrick Williams, but if I said Patrick Williams, I was gonna say Patrick Williams and Kobe White, but I switched it to Zach LaVine.
Hey man, I understand. I have a Zach LaVine jersey of my own actually, so I do understand having to talk about Zach LaVine. But I got Patrick Williams because I've heard a lot of Bulls fans very high on him. I know he's a very high potential player, has high defensive upside, especially, and could really become an impact guy. The thing is, he's only
He already
22
is an
years
impact
old.
guy.
He's only 22 years old, and I still think he has a long way to go. He could get so much better. For as good as he already is, he could get so much better. But here's the thing about the Bulls, is that the Bulls are trying to win games. The Bulls are trying to compete. Whether or not they'll successfully do so, probably will not. But what are they trying to do? They're trying to compete. They're trying to take advantage of the parity of the league and get as far as they can. Well, if they want to do that, Patrick Williams, he's probably the leader of that front court. The 4-5, he's probably could be the best guy out of both of those positions. You got whoever you want to have as your point guard, probably Kobe White if he ends up panning out. You got Zach LaVine, you got DeMar DeRozan. Vooch is probably on a little bit more of a downswing. Patrick Williams could really be on the come up and make this team better than they should be, but that development will have to be severely expedited because you got to think he really should still be like 4 years away from his prime, but right now they need him to play like he's in his prime if they want any chance of doing anything.
Nah, that's a fact. It's crazy. Mo, you said Billy D got y'all playing through DeMar? Shit,
Bro. Oh my goodness, bro.
Don't slander DeMar ever again.
I'm not. No.
Don't
We're not slandering
DeMar.
DeMar.
No,
It's just-
Jay
Oh, no,
is
I am.
slandering DeMar.
Oh, I
Jay
am.
is slandering DeMar.
What's wrong with you, bro?
Oh, I'm
My
slandering
man.
DeMar.
Leave my man's alone. You're a Knicks fan.
I'm about to just take the key from.
Yeah, well, who the fuck?
My X factor would have to also be Zach LaVine in a league that's so predicated on the 3-point shooting and guard play. I'm surprised that Zach LaVine hasn't been. He's an incredible scorer, incredibly athletic. I'm surprised Zach LaVine hasn't been able to uplift the Bulls as much as I would have thought. I mean, when he did his first couple years pre-DeMar with the Chicago Bulls, absolutely phenomenal. But we haven't seen him take that next step, take that next leap from what he was previously. I don't know. Can Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan coexist on the Chicago Bulls team? I don't
think
know.
We've seen enough. No.
But with that being said, our next team is the Cleveland Cavaliers. What is their X factor?
Yeah.
Let me start off with this. So this was who I was giving some consideration to, not a whole bunch, but I was giving some consideration to this guy potentially winning Defensive Player of the Year. Evan Mobley is my X factor.
Future MVP Evan
if
Mobley
we-
in the next 5 years?
No, I don't. He ain't that big of an X factor, but shit, maybe. But what we saw from Evan Mobley defensively, he kept his team as a top defensive team for the entire season. I think that as long as we see incremental increases in his offensive production and his offensive numbers, that's really all that we need to see from Mobley, because defensively he's got it. He's playing with a team that he doesn't have to be that guy to score with the guard play that they got. But yeah, I would just like to see Evan Mobley get a little bit better offensively and then continue being the defensive anchor that he is going to be. He's projecting to be one of the best, like top 10 defensive players in the league if he's not one of those already. So Evan Mobley, my X factor.
Hey man, like, retweet, repost, everything, because Evan Mobley is the same pick for me for all the same reasons. It's just breaking out now will be great because the Cavs have a little playoff experience. So
Yeah, I'm very glad that we did the Bulls and the Cavs back to back because it's almost the exact same thing. Like I was saying for Patrick Williams, I do have Evan Mobley as well because he should still be several years off from being close to his prime because he's so young. But because they cashed in and they got Donovan Mitchell and sped up that timeline, now all of a sudden we need that front court production, and he's the guy who has the biggest chance to be a front court star if they want to go far. So it's really like they all kind of played like dog shit in the playoffs, let's be honest here. But like really in that front court, like on the defensive side of the ball, dude, even as a defensive stopper and like just like giving up all those offensive rebounds to New York, like that shit was sad, bro. And I think as well, like for them to really come into their own as a contender, I'll keep saying this. He needs to get to the point where he can become the full-time 5. I don't know how long that's going to take for him to put on the size or for him to just get comfortable playing there. But long-term, him and Jared Allen, I don't see either one of them becoming some great outside shooter. So just for spacing's sake, Jared Allen is going to have to go one of these days, and Evan Mobley is going to have to take over that starting 5. So whenever he is able to do so and can get to that level, the sooner the better, and this Cleveland Cavaliers team can take the next step towards greatness.
Gotta go. The Pro gotta go.
See, I respect the Evan Mobley takes, and I've been someone very vocal on saying he has absolutely no fucking bag, and he definitely needs to dip into that bag and make it a lot deeper. But he's not my X factor personally. Mine is Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro's development
is doing everything possible to not pick the same X factor as me. We have not had one the same. Go ahead.
Isaac Okoro's development.
That's a good pull, though.
Isaac Okoro's development for this upcoming season is going to be what sets the Cleveland Cavaliers apart from the rest of the Eastern Conference and what propels them to the top of the East. I think playing off of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, being able to hit those corner threes, especially being able not being a liability, so you can also play defense because he is their best defensive player. He was absolutely locking up Jalen Brunson when he was playing on him. I'll admit it unbiasedly. He was on his ass, and he needs to be able to be a offensive threat as well as bringing that defense on a night-to-night basis. But our next team we got is the Pistons.
Question,
the Detroit.
How many more teams we got left?
8.
We got 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
Yeah, we can kind of fly a little bit through these more, but
the Pistons easy. Well, who y'all got in the X factor?
You want to start, Mo?
I mean, Cade, bro. We gotta see him healthy. That's like we gotta see him healthy. And when we see him healthy, it's gonna be dangerous because I really like Cade. And the Pistons are gonna be one of my teams that I'm particularly watching this season. Because I want to see
so much talent. There's so much talent on that roster. I really do think
a lot of talent.
If Cade plays like he played in the sample we got last year, they could really start making a play-in push. I'm not saying they're going to make it. I'm saying they could make a play-in push and be a lot better than they were last year. Now, maybe they won't have some amazing record, but I just think the on-court product will look so much better because that's just what having a star point guard does to your franchise. But it was a very small sample size. And like most rookie point guards, his rookie season was a bit rocky. So if we just see that consistent star-level production that we got out of him in that limited sample last year, this team could really be on the upswing soon.
Last year before the season, I had them making the play-in, actually, because I thought he would take a jump. But the injuries happened. I think he'll take a jump this year, too. Maybe not qualifying for most improved player like some people think, but I do think he is their X factor just because I think he will change the trajectory of their team the most this year.
Yeah, this time I'm with you guys. I absolutely do have Cade Cunningham as their X factor. I think they needed a guy at that point guard position, playmaking position, to really propel this Detroit Pistons team. Our next team we got is the Indiana Pacers. Who is their X factor?
I feel like I don't know. Is this easy or?
I don't think it's that
I think we might have two different answers.
I think I have a different answer than you guys. I don't think I started off one a little bit, so I'll go ahead and start this one off. I got the new guy in town, man. I got Bruce Brown here.
I think you're gonna say Obi. Fuck
him, man. You can go ahead and say Obi because I know your guy from the Knicks. I know you're about to have him. Spoiler alert, I guess. But I have Bruce Brown. He did come over from Denver. Came over with that championship pedigree. Just was a vitally important piece to a finals winning roster, and he's really going to bolster the wing depth they have. If you look at your wings right now, especially just at the forward spots as a whole, Obi Toppin has potential, but there's still questions about him. Jarris Walker is a rookie coming in. Just those forward positions, like Bruce Brown is really going to be the guy doing a lot of the heavy lifting there early on, and maybe throughout the whole season because, like I said, those guys have question marks. You never know how it's going to go. Jarris Walker could be really good, could hit a rookie wall. Overall, for that consistency and for that 3-and-D ability, what he's going to bring to this team could really take them to a new level. His winning mentality and just the stuff that he could bring in as a veteran could take them into playoff hopes. And I think most people have them as a playoff team this year, and he's a big reason why. So if he can bring a similar impact to what he brought to Denver, this team gets a lot better.
Yeah, I think that they're I think that I think Bruce Brown's going to change the culture of this team. That's a big reason why I have them making the playoffs, just like you said. And that's a big reason why I agree. I think he is going to be the X factor just because it's going to shift the direction of this team the biggest way possible.
I'm going to go in a different direction. I think that Bruce Brown is great, and he would have been a safe pick, but my pick is going to be Benedict Mathurin, only because I want to see the jump from the homegrown talent that they have. Bruce Brown, we basically know he's going to be a rental. $22 million a year for 2 years. I don't know how long they're going to keep him on their roster. Obviously, they're not going to be paying him that much, but they paid him that much so that they can get some experience with this team and kind of get that vet guy, that glue guy, or whatever. But Benedict Mathurin, homegrown talent. I want to see what he's going to produce next season, especially because he started off so hot, petered off a little bit as rookies usually do. But that sophomore jump, I want to see it.
I love that pick. It's such a great pick because he really hit that rookie wall decently hard. So if he just gets through the whole season doing the kind of stuff he did for stretches last year, he could be the sixth man of the year.
No, for real. My X factor is also Bruce Brown. He's Mr. Do It All, the Switch Army Knife. I think he's there on the Indiana.
No, that's hard. That's crazy nickname. The Switch Army Knife. I fuck with it. I like that.
He's I think he's on the Indiana Pacers strictly to show these guys how to win. I mean, he's a winning player. He's the type of person that's going to do the dirty work while Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker find their roles, find their footing into this league. And I think Bruce Brown is really going to propel the Indiana Pacers to playoff contention. The next team is the Milwaukee Bucks. What is their X factor?
I'm not going with an obvious choice. I'm solely going with Malik Beasley, only because for so much of the last few years, when you see like the Wesley Matthews and the Grayson Allens on this team and stuff like that, like they're so unreliable, man. Like that's the biggest thing I'm looking at, and I'm just like, it frustrates me to watch when I'm watching the Bucks in the playoffs because like they'll get so many open looks and they cannot execute. So with Malik Beasley, I mean, a guy who's proven to take a lot of threes, make a lot of threes, and especially a guy who might be looking at redemption the way last year ended for him with the Lakers and he kind of got shoved out of the rotation. I think he might have a bigger role than people think with this Bucks team. So I'm going to go with him.
X factor for this Bucks team, I'm going to go with Chris Middleton. You want to see what he does coming off of that injury. Obviously, he got some run in under him last season, but I don't think that was truly enough for him to come back like fully from the rehab. I think we still saw a little bit of sluggish Chris Middleton. So with the full, off season, they went home early. So full off season, full training camp, full all of that. I want to see what Chris Middleton brings to this team when they tip off for that first game and through 82 games of the season.
Yeah, I had somebody different than both of you guys. I had Jrue Holiday here. Like I was talking about earlier, Jrue Holiday last season in the playoffs was a net negative on both offense and defense. And especially on that defensive side, that's the deepest position in basketball. He's going to have to really pick it back up and be that defensive stopper type guy if this team wants to go anywhere because besides him, their backcourt really is not that good at all. So they need that production desperately if this team is going to try to compete for more championships. I do think that like almost any guy on this team outside of Giannis is a pretty good pick because I do think there's question marks on all of them. Middleton, like Mo said, was a bit sluggish. Anybody else knew they brought him is going to have roles to fill. And Brook Lopez, for as great as he was, how long can he keep that up? Because he's only getting older.
Yeah, my X factor is Pat Connaughton. I mean, he has been one of my favorite role players for a while. The last 2 years, shot 37%. Last year, 2 years ago, shot 39%, about 5 attempts. This brother hit 30 and ended up shooting 33%. He actually fell off from the 3-point line. If he could find that stroke from behind the arc, playing off of Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, and Giannis, he's going to absolutely impact this Milwaukee Bucks team. But the next team we got is the Atlanta Hawks.
I want to start off with this team. So for the Atlanta Hawks, the X factor, Onyeka Okongwu. With the impending, I would assume, Clint Capella should be on his way out of Atlanta. A bunch of the defensive responsibility is going to fall on Onyeka Okongwu's shoulders, him and a few other players. But I think that he has the most potential out of their big men. I want to see a big season for him, and I'm predicting a big season for him because again, I have this Atlanta Hawks team being very good. I think that they're gonna take some of the disrespect that they've been hearing to heart, and I think that they're gonna come back better. But in my opinion, that starts with the improvement of Onyeka Okongwu. Need more minutes, need more responsibility placed on his shoulders, and I need for him to show out when it's expected of him and when it's asked.
It's DeAndre Hunter for me. It's just like the consistency and the injuries that have happened year after year. It's like we got to see it all put together at some point in time. And like we kind of got that in the playoffs, not this past year, but the year before, and he wasn't too bad. But it's like it's just so like thin and few that I'm looking forward to seeing that this season. Okongwu's not a bad choice. I don't know where it's going to be for his role coming right out with Capella still there. And if Capella was gone as well as John Collins, I think I probably would have picked Okongwu personally, but I'm going to go with DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, both of those are very good takes. I think this team is a lot like one that has a lot of guys who could really be very up or down. My guy is once again a different guy than both of you. And I usually hate doing this. I usually hate picking a star level type guy, but I do have DeJounte Murray as their X factor. I think the key thing for me was always just DeJounte Murray had a lot of very good moments last year, but the Hawks lineup showed that they were always better when just one of them was on the court without the other, no matter which one it was. When they actually played on the court together, the on-court product was not as good. And so hoping now with a new system, with a little bit of roster switches, I'm hoping they can begin to synthesize their play styles a lot more, just begin to become greater than the sum of their parts and make this team a lot better. I think at the end of the day, if this team wants to go far, you need your two best players to be at their best playing together. And if they can find a way to achieve that, which I think is very possible with the coaching change, they will get a lot better very quickly.
Yeah, I'm keeping it short and sweet. I'm pretty much with Garrett. DeAndre Hunter, injuries and consistency. Hey, you need to change that. Next team we got is the Charlotte Hornets. Who is their X factor?
I'll go first on this one because I don't want to talk about this guy for too long. I think it was pretty easily for me. It was Miles Bridges. Obviously, he was away for the team for quite some time for reasons that I do not feel like getting into on this broadcast. But he is now back. And at the end of the day, however you feel about him, he is back and he is a very talented player. But when you take a year off of NBA basketball, it's a little bit hard to get back into the swing of things. So is he going to be as good as he was before? We don't know. If he is, last time he was playing that good, they made the play-in. They were a much better team than they were last season without him there. There's obviously a lot of question marks on this roster. LaMelo's health is one. Brandon Miller is a huge rookie, but I'm not ever going to put a rookie as the X factor. At the end of the day, Miles Bridges could really swing the direction of this team a lot, and if he performs very well, they might have a real solid trio on their hands in LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Miles Bridges. So he is big for them.
Yeah, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going with a guy who I think later in last year showed a little bit of progression, got a little bit more of a chance. I'm going to go with Mark Williams as my X factor.
You're still my X factor, damn it.
I just feel like, we haven't really seen him get too much of a chance with LaMelo, and now it's like you get Miles Bridges back. Obviously, you still got Rozier. You still got Hayward for the time being, at least. So it's like seeing that tandem work where it's like giving LaMelo kind of a lob threat and like seeing what he can do on the defensive side of things. I think that's going to be huge, and kind of stepping into that role because, they've had several different people at that center position the last couple of years, from like Plumlee to Harrell to, you know what I mean? Like, and now it's like Mark Williams. So it's like that's kind of the biggest thing I'm looking at, and maybe he can be the guy that's like consistently their five moving forward. Like you said, Gabe, they won like 43 games the other year, not this past year, the year before. It's like if he can fill that role nicely, like they could be right back there and maybe even take another step up from what they were before.
Oh shit! I forget. I forgot I was muted. I also have Mark Williams for all the reasons that Garrett was saying. What he said earlier, like retweet, quote tweet, repost, all that shit. So yeah, Mark Williams.
Hey, my X factor is also Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges absolutely changes everything about the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, he damn near looked like prime Vince Carter out there, bro. To be honest. Next team we got is the Miami Heat. Who is their X factor?
This one's pretty hard. This one, this was the one where I had a very weird pick.
I got a weird pick too.
It's because I didn't pick one guy. I kind of picked one guy. I said the shooters, and most specifically Duncan Robinson. Just look at them in the playoffs versus them in the regular season last year and realize they went from one of the worst shooting teams in the league to one of the best overnight because guys like
Unprecedented how crazy they was just
guys
shooting
like
well, bro.
Max Strus, who's not there anymore, guys like Caleb Martin. These guys were just shooting absurd numbers, especially in that first round series where they could get that upset against the 1 seed. They were just having these crazy offensive shooting nights, and they didn't do that in the regular season. And because of that, they were not a very good team. When you have 2-star players in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, who are very much inside the arc operators, you need the other guys to be able to space the floor effectively if you want this team to be successful during the regular season. They have the star power. They have the coaching. They have a lot of good pieces on this team. They obviously have the defense. It's really just going to be the consistency of that shooting that shows how good they are. And they're probably going to need it for 82 games because this Eastern Conference is looking a little nice, and you don't want to be relying on the play-in to get in again.
I'm going to go next. Mine is a player that's not actually on the Miami Heat. It's Damian Lillard, bro. If they get Damian Lillard, then their fortune changes, and I truly think that they one of the most dangerous teams to come out the East. If they don't, 8 seed or something like that, bro, I don't know, because this team, they got worse because they lost the depth that brought them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they didn't replace it. So I have a hard time fitting this team anywhere because it's like, all right, I don't want to just say that they're going to be garbage because they've consistently proven people wrong when they've made these deep playoff runs. But like, I can't in good faith say that this team is going to be a contender without Damian Lillard on this roster. So Damian Lillard is this team's X factor. As weird as it sounds.
And I mean, until they make that trade, it's hard for me to, I guess, put that. But I see where you're coming from. My X factor, and it's similar to the point guard spot because like you lost Gabe Vincent. My X factor this year is Kyle Lowry. I mean, there's no messing around, man. You can't come into the season being Kyle Calories. Like you gotta be in shape. Okay, you gotta literally, because there's gonna be so much more of an opportunity for him to take that role. And it's like we've heard Trent say over and over again. It's like this dude's injured all the time. He's not the same player. Well, dude, right now there's no trade that's been made. You have to step up. You have to be at least somewhat remotely half of what you once were. Can you be that? Okay, throughout the regular season. Okay, because in the playoffs last year you had some high moments, but I'm gonna just say that like Kyle Lowry, you got to come in shape because there's gonna be a lot more on your plate, and you can't eat any of it.
All right, buddy.
Yo, Kyle Calories is crazy. Hey, my X factor is Tyler Hero. Yo, Tyler Hero, you know they want you up on out of there for Damian Lillard. So if the trade does not happen, you have to play the best basketball of your life, and I'm counting on that. The next team we got is the Orlando Magic. What's their X factor?
This is easy. Markelle Fultz.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Man is going to change the landscape of the Magic, and that's why they're going to make the playoffs this year. Because his health, when he was healthy last year, over 500. Markelle Fultz, simple.
I don't know about making the playoffs, but I do have Markelle Fultz as the X factor. That front court is locked down, bro. Paolo, Franz, and Wendell, that's a very formidable starting front court to have. But that back court, they still don't know who's going to be their long-term guys there. But Markelle Fultz is the best out of them. He's the best playmaker. I think he's the guy that can really make all those front court guys come together into one cohesive unit and take them to the next step.
It's kind of like an echo chamber because I'm also going with Markelle Fultz, bro. What we've seen and what we continue to see from Markelle Fultz is just he keeps getting better, obviously coming back from that injury, coming back from the major setbacks. And bro, it's in an environment where they've allowed him to grow, they've allowed him to come back, and they've allowed him to heal. So I feel like it's one of those things where you nurture the plant, now the fruit will bear, and we gonna see that this season. So Markel Fultz, X Factor.
Hey, shout out to Markel Fultz. I got somebody else. I know what I'm gonna get from Markel Fultz. He's a fantastic player. I'm going with Jalen Suggs. I like the defensive edge that he brings, and I just need to see more consistent shooting from outside from Suggs, and I think that's gonna change everything. I think that's gonna change everything from the Orlando Magic in terms of the guard play. Now, the next team we got is the Washington Wizards. Do they have an X factor?
Hey man,
Gabe
can. I think you want to start, Mo.
Yeah.
Or, okay. Well, Gabe can give my answer because I know we're gonna have the same. But go ahead.
Hey man,
you probably know I've been a vocal fan of one guy for a while.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo, and then Gabe can go.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a revenge tour on the way. I don't know how we gonna do it, but Jordan Poole gonna average 26, man. He gonna average 26 points a game.
26.
He gonna average
42% from the field and 31
Hey,
from three.
listen. What I tell you? I said I didn't know how it was gonna happen. It might be on shitty efficiency. He gonna average 26 points a game. It's Jordan Poole. Now, in all seriousness, Jordan Poole, he definitely needed a fresh start. He just didn't look like himself in the later half of the season, and then the playoffs, he was completely terrible. A far cry from just a year prior, where we saw him do, starting, Steph Curry backing him up, and then in the finals had some crucial games that helped them win that championship. But this new fresh scenery, fresh team, new everything, new look, I feel like it's gonna be beneficial for him. And we gonna see Jordan Poole. He gonna show his ass, and I feel like it's also great because I think he's gonna have the green light. Who else is gonna have the green light on this team? Like him, Kuzma, Bradley Beal's not there, so what else are we gonna Gallinari, but like not as much as them two. So I like Jordan Poole as this Wizards team X factor.
All right, so that's a decent pick right there. But I do think that Jordan Poole is going to pretty easily be the second best player on the team. I think Kuzma is the best player on that roster right now. But the X factor is my guy, bro. One of my favorite role players, Tyus Jones. That's the guy. Tyus Jones had a lot of very good showings as Ja Morant's backup, notably a point guard who missed a significant amount of time. So being that backup guy there, he got a lot of opportunities to step up and be the starting guy. And he put up very good numbers, especially in the regular season when he was put into that role. Now, what I will say is he did not perform very well in the playoffs. But what I will also say is that this Wizards team is going to be nowhere near the playoffs. So we're only basically basing this off of what he's done in the regular season. And while the talent on Washington is not what it was around him to distribute to in Memphis, I still think he has a lot of great ability as far as being safe with the ball. His assist-to-turnover ratio is very good, being an efficient player, and just overall filling the holes that are going to be left when you have guys like Jordan Poole who might be a little bit more inefficient, might be a little bit more rocky. I think Tyus Jones is going to have to be that really consistent guy who they can rely on night in and night out to get you something good.
Retweet.
Hey, my X factor is Jordan Poole. It's gonna be a pool party in Washington. The light skin demon is out. Do not bring your girlfriend to Wizard games. All right, so
ain't nobody going to Wizard games, bro.
Hey,
I will. I got to rep Gallo once.
They have the lowest attendance in the league.
That's because they was like fucking trash, bro.
Because they didn't have Gallinari.
They still are trash.
They got him.
But they had no aura around their team.
I think
wait till the Rooster walks into that building. It's gonna change.
Rooster's crazy.
That's the worst team in the NBA, bro. They're gonna be the worst team in the NBA.
Stop it.
So the mini game we got for today, fellas, we've seen it before. We got layup, mid-range, 3-pointer.
He's biting my whole float. Now, I feel you. Go ahead.
This is the Moni game. The Mo mini game.
Yo, Gabe, since you won the debate earlier, I'm gonna let you go first, bro. What you got?
Sorry, that's so cringe.
You're gonna have to explain the rules, bro.
Oh wait, you never played? I've
never played this. I've kind of seen it.
So layup is 1 point. Mid range is 2 points. 3-pointer is 3 points. It increases the difficulty.
Isn't there like
So-
stipulations too, where it's like you could use
See,
it
bro,
or
he don't got the
See,
sauce like I got.
Nah. I kept it
Yeah.
simple. I ain't gonna lie. I kept it simple.
you don't got the sauce?
What am I?
man.
What am I? Is it like? Is this
Oh,
the
and
thing
it's
where you
gonna
have to name every team a player played for?
No. So I'm gonna ask you a question and you gotta answer it. The 3-pointer is the highest difficulty. Mid-range.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Alright.
What are you
Yeah, we
doing?
got-
I feel like knowing J3. I don't know.
Is
Three
the
might-
question just to me, or do these motherfuckers get to answer before I do?
We all get the answer, right?
Yeah, no. I asked
We
you.
use it- we
you
doing a
pick
buzz
which one,
system.
and then and then I say the question. You guys buzz. Whoever buzz first.
All right.
All right.
So in that case, I'm gonna start off with a mid.
We going to 7. Which one?
mid-range.
Pull up,
All right.
Miggy.
Of course, Damar fan.
Name every NBA player on the Bahamas national team.
That's not a mid range.
That
This is not a mid range.
I ain't gonna lie. That's cake, bro.
Bro.
How's that? Oh, you would know this, really, Jay? If we asked you,
Okay, it's
I swear to
topical, and I know who
I
it
know,
is,
like,
too.
I can think of like 2, but
It's
I
not that
can't.
many. I say it's 4. It's 4 guys, bro.
What
I
the
can
fuck do you
name
mean it's not that many?
zero.
That's a lot, bro.
That's not a
I
lot.
don't
bro.
know. I don't.
Nah, I'm cooked. White flag. White
Nobody?
flag.
Do we get points if we get like part?
Nah, 4. Nah, hell no. This is not charity. For what?
Yes. I love
Bro.
that.
Bro,
This
I can
man
think
gets
of. I
hold
can name one.
time.
Wait. All right. If you guys don't, if nobody knows it for real, I'll do another one. I'll do a different one.
All right.
Wait,
let's get
hold
a
on.
different
Because I know.
mid-range.
Can I buzz? I'll buzz in. Can I buzz in?
All right, you can buzz.
Okay, so I know Eric Gordon is 1. And DeAndre Ayton is 2.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Shoot.
I thought this shit was easy, bro.
You said there's 4?
4. The 4th one is gonna be hard. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, shoot. I think I might know a 3rd one, but I don't know a 4th. I'm gonna just go with like Buddy Hield and
Or more.
no, I don't think it's him. I'll go with Jeremy Sohan. I don't know.
Nah. Last one was Kai Jones. You guys weren't gonna get that shit.
Damn it.
Did I get the wait? Did I get Buddy Hield?
Yeah, you got 3. You got 3 of the 4.
Oh my god, bro, that sucks.
Hey Gary, since you're the only one that tried, hey,
I don't even get like 1 point, bro.
Well,
that
hey.
is a mid range, man. I should get like 1 point, bro.
Nah, bro.
You missed a
Argue
mid-range.
with
I
you.
got
don't get
1.5 out of 2. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, layup, mid range, or 3-pointer.
Well, I'm scared to pick a mid range now, but I
that was
guess
not
I'll
a
pick.
mid-range question. bro.
I guess I'll pick another mid range. I don't know.
All right, so who has the record for career blocks average?
Buzz? Mark
Button
Eaton?
buzz after.
W.
Bro,
Okay.
I was gonna say that.
Okay, because I know, bro, he had it like that. He had the sauce.
Gary got
Big
2.
sauce.
Nice.
Sauce
See,
was.
that was a real mid range. Like honestly, I'm kind of confused because the other one should have been a 3-pointer. That one maybe could have been a 1-pointer.
No, I didn't think that the Bahamas was. I thought you guys watched FIBA.
I don't watch that.
I
shit.
don't like
Bro.
that, especially Kai Jones. Like automatically should make that a 3-pointer, bro.
Hey,
Yeah, like, what the
layup, mid range, or 3-pointer.
We'll go with another midi.
All right. What is Ray Allen's real name?
Buzz.
name.
Buzz.
I heard Garrett.
I heard Gabe.
Shoot.
but-
Okay, I think I'm right, but I don't want to be wrong. Is it Walter?
You got it right. I heard.
Okay.
She.
I don't know why I was like doubting myself.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
All right. Layup, mid range, or 3-pointer.
The mid ranges are doing me well since I've gone there, so we'll go back there.
All right.
Mid-range merchant.
Who had? No, I think that might be a little too easy. Hold up.
Actually, you know what? Can I
Wanna
switch
go-
it?
Want to go 3? Yeah. Fuck yeah.
A 3 will win it, right?
3 will win it.
I'll go for a 3. I'll go for a 3.
This is a 3-pointer. Keep in mind. How many teams? This one, No. Yeah, no. You gotta answer both. How many teams are in the World Cup, and how many qualify for the Olympics?
Oh, dude, I don't know this.
Buzz.
I'll buzz
You
after.
buzz?
Mo.
So I'm assuming you're talking about the FIBA World Cup. So how many
Yeah.
teams are in the FIBA World Cup?
Yeah.
And then you said how many teams qualify for the Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we in group play, and it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I want to say H. So yeah, H would make it 8 teams, 8 times 4, 32. So 32 teams are currently, 32 teams are in the FIBA World Cup. Now, when it goes to Olympics, it does the group play, but I think there's only 4 groups per. So in the Olympics, 4x4 would be 16. So what did I say? 8 times 4. So 32 in the FIBA World Cup, 16 in the Olympics.
Anybody want to buzz?
Was that wrong? Wait, no, I was gonna buzz. I was gonna buzz next though, but
Buzz next. I'll tell you.
Just wait.
So it was wrong.
No, wait, no. Somebody else buzzing. I'll let y'all know. Like,
Bro.
Well, dude, if you got it right, tell.
It's not right. It's not right.
Okay, so then.
So I buzz next.
Well,
I said I was gonna.
You
buzz
said
after
I
Mo.
was gonna, but you didn't.
Dude, I said I.
I ain't gonna lie. Garrett did say it.
I said I'm buzzing after Mo.
Garrett did
Okay.
say it.
Jesus. So the full thing was wrong. Right.
You can't tell.
I can't say that.
Okay. I was trying to finesse. Okay. I'm gonna say. I think. Okay, I'm gonna go with 24 in the whole thing and 12.
That's incorrect as well.
All right, so I'm gonna go with 32 teams in the World Cup. And I'm gonna give a hot take, bro. I think there's 64 in the Olympics. Mo
and Garrett, y'all should have switched, bro. It's 32 and 12, bro.
32.
Dude, why did I know? I knew a 12 was in there somewhere, but I'm like,
it's 12.
Yeah,
bro. What did I said? 16.
You said 16,
yeah.
bro.
Oh my god,
bro. I knew the 12. I don't know why. Why did I say 24, bro? I should have. Yeah.
Wait. Who do I give it to?
Well, I got the last one right. So.
Yeah. Mid range.
64.
Layup mid range or 3.
Bro. Come on, bro.
I'll go for another 3.
Okay.
I guess.
You trying to end this shit?
What?
That one was a good one.
I ain't gonna lie, that you might know that, Garrett. That's like a historical one. But
what?
No, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. What player was responsible for the NBA implementing the rookie scale in what year?
The rookie scale.
Buzz. And what year? You're an asshole for and what year? Bro,
can you define what you mean by
he got drafted? It's the year he got drafted.
Can you define what you mean by like rookies? What is rookie scale? Am I like
so the rookie scale? Prior to this year, you had to negotiate your contract when you got drafted. So after a certain year, there was a scale depending on the cap space.
So I buzzed in Magic Johnson 79. No,
that's a good one actually.
Yeah.
The rookie scale. That's a good one. I don't know contracts all like that, so I'm just trying to think of like.
I'm a buzz in. I'm gonna say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1969.
That's a good one.
Incorrect, Gabe.
So that's incorrect. So if I get this right, I'm okay. I feel like LeBron would be too obvious.
I will say it's not like a household name. It's not.
It's not.
Hey, you giving him hints and shit, bro?
I'm sorry. It's not a household name, bro.
If you get this, I'm on your ass, bro, because that's bullshit. We didn't get.
Okay, I'm gonna just ask a question. Do you know who this player is though?
Do I know who it is?
Yeah.
We got morning
classes. Like even the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got morning classes and shit. This dude's taking all fucking day to make a guess, bro.
And he
Hey,
cheating.
relax. I'm gonna go with changing the rookie scale. I'm gonna go with Andrew Bogut in 05.
Nah, it was Jim Jackson in 1992.
Why?
Hey,
Like,
Hey, what the fuck?
He wasn't even like a top 3 pick.
nah, he was 4. He was 4.
I was solely thinking of like the top pick. Okay, we'll do another 3-pointer.
All right.
I'm trying to end this damn
all right,
game, bro.
I'm trying to get it. Yeah, bro.
What team drafted Vince Carter?
Buzz. Oh, this is you shouldn't. You really should
That
not.
was too easy. That was too
You
easy.
Bro,
you
there's
should
no
not have
fucking
given
way
me
this is
this.
a 3-pointer, bro.
Hey man, you should not have given me this because I literally have a video that's in my privated that's going to drop talking about the Vince Carter draft pick.
That's going. Hold on, let me
That's
pick it up.
literally insane that you gave me this.
Yo,
Golden
let me-
State Warriors, give me my W.
This shit is cheating, bro.
That's crazy. I swear to God, I did not know.
Hey,
I did not
I'm
know.
calling
kid you
bullshit,
not.
bro. I'm calling cap, bro. Straight cap.
I kid
Straight
you
cap.
not. I made the thumbnail and everything.
That's insane. Yo,
Bro,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so ridiculously unmoved, bro. I knew the answers to all those questions, but my ass was slow as
What
fuck.
the bro?
I had
I
one other
literally have that
3-pointer.
video. It's going to drop
Yeah,
probably
bro.
next week, bro.
Dude,
That was
had-
crazy.
Being,
I had one
being
other
100
3-pointer.
milliseconds slower, bro, fucking lost me the game.
Bro, I had one more 3-pointer. It was who is the all-time leader in fouls? Do y'all know that?
Buzz, isn't that I think that's Karl Malone, right?
Kareem.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, then Karl Malone is technical fouls, I think.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
fellas. Hey, congratulations.
Jay,
Hey, congratulations, Garrett. Another W under your belt.
this is some
Hey
bullshit,
man, this
bro.
was too easy, bruh. I mean, I think Steph did this recently where he went straight up 7-0-0 sweep in this type of mini game, but this is too easy,
This
bruh.
man was
Come
getting
on.
hints. He got
Too
a
easy.
question specifically tailored to him. Cheating,
The
bro.
hints didn't mean anything.
No, those were
Yeah, I
easy
know.
ass questions, bro. I literally knew the exact answer. To
Jay, that is crazy though that you gave me a Vince Carter question about the draft pick, and I kid you not, we never talked about this at all.
Never.
And,
I swear to God.
cahoots, bro.
And literally,
swear
I
to
have
God.
that video made. That's
They
crazy.
in cahoots, bro. This is bullshit. I'm
Hey,
not
listen.
fucking
Hey,
with it.
hey, listen. Hey, listen. It's been a W stream, fellas. Congratulations to my boy Garrett on that mini game win. It's been fun, and make sure y'all pop out to our next stream on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll see y'all next stream.
Peace
Peace.
out.